Welcome to the Transform with Vance podcast, where transformations begin every day, and I am your host, Vance Hines. So let's get started. All right. We're here today. This is Vance Hines, and this is the Transform with Vance podcast, where I interview DDP yoga success stories, and we have a super success story today, Stephanie Trujillo Kelly. With the wait a minute! Before I introduce you, you got to introduce what's on your shoulder.
Oh yes, this is the champion belt that I got for being a 2021 DDP Yoga Positively Unstoppable Champion, and had to bring it here to transform with fans.
Hold it up to where we can see the front of it. Let's see.
Yeah, I still can't believe I have this. It's crazy.
Champion Stephanie
Uh,
Kelly.
my name on a belt.
Um,
Yeah, I can't believe it. So I'm not gonna hold this the whole time though because it's heavy because this thing's
oh
legit.
man. Well,
So
tell us a
it's
little
got
bit
some weight.
about the belt, what all's on it, and that kind of stuff.
So it has the Team Relentless logo, which is super cool that they added this for us. We were thinking about like getting shirts made and trying to come up with ideas for a logo, and DDPY was kind enough and creative enough to create this for us. So they created the logo for us, and then they surprised us by putting it on the belt. And we've got the DDPY logo, of course. And in the middle, we've got the diamond cutter by the man himself, Diamond Dale's Page. And it's got my name and
Oh
champion
man.
on it. So, I mean, it's solid. And it's just so crazy that I have this. Every time I see it, I smile. So super cool. And I'm so proud of it.
Congratulations. Well, we'll get to all that. That's impressive. We'll
Thank
get
you.
to all that. Now, I want you to know I took Brian Tan's podcast this week, and his is the next one that I'm gonna, I think, release. And he showed me a tattoo that he's got of the Relentless logo. I want to know, he's committed to the team. Are you going to be that committed?
So I am definitely getting a tattoo.
Oh, she's getting committed
I
now.
I haven't designed it or gone that far just yet. Hopefully I'm able to actually get it with Brian Gray, another one of the members of Team Relentless and a 2021 Positively Unstoppable champion. He lives in Ohio, so I think we're about 5 hours away from each other. So I think we're the closest to each other. So once it warms up a bit, because it's cold up here in the Midwest, it is
And
very
where is
cold.
here?
He is in
And where
Ohio.
are you?
I'm in the Chicago area.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yes. So we're gonna come up with a plan to either like I go out there, he comes here, maybe we meet in the middle and get our tattoos together. So more to come on that. Something to look
All
forward
right.
to later on this year.
Do you have other tattoos? So
I
this wouldn't be your
do.
first.
I
Is there anybody that doesn't have any tattoos on the team?
You know what? I think everybody
Is
does.
everybody committed to getting a tattoo?
Yeah. So we've got Brian. Brian Tan already got his, and he just got a second one.
DDP Yoga tattoo or
Um,
Team Relentless tattoo? Wow.
yeah, a DDPY tattoo, and then Patrick Sims got 2 tattoos recently, and one was a DDPY tattoo on his forearm. um, and then Jeremy already has the Unstoppable across his chest. That was a DDPY tattoo. So I think Brian and I are planning to get one. And then Maria, she has tattoos, but I don't think she's planning on getting any more. But I mean, we're all in it.
In for good,
We
permanent.
are all committed 100%. Yeah. How about you, Vance? Do you have a DDPY
I do.
tattoo?
I've got the diamond cutter. See here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, I love it.
No, yeah, I got it at the summit. Not the the summit before COVID.
No way.
I went with Larry Keeler and his wife. They were going. What Larry Keeler got? He had Dallas sign his arm in a permanent marker, and he went and then got the tattooed permanently Dallas's signature on it. I think it's on his arm.
Oh my.
And his
goodness.
wife got a some kind of floral tattoo, but it was Jennifer Jolliker, Larry, and his wife. Shit, I can't remember Larry's wife's name. Damn it. But I'll think of it here in a minute. But we all four went over there, and I wasn't planning on getting a tattoo or anything, but I just said,
Really?
this is my first. And I said, the hell. I said, yeah, I said,
What?
the hell with it. And Mary didn't even know. She, we had talked about getting tattoos over the years, but always chickened out, never have done it. And so I didn't even, I told her I was going to the tattoo place and I might get one. And that's all she knew. And then the next thing I did, I took a picture of it and put it on Facebook before I told her.
Oh
And so her first notice of it was through Facebook, and then she said, "WTF."
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
So
I can't believe
it
that. That's
was
crazy.
a lot of fun. So I'm impressed y'all are that committed. I'm impressed.
Well, you know the journey. I mean, it's not just something that you do, it's something you live, and it's something that you live the rest of your life if you want, to stay healthy and live for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, we're all in it.
So tell us, what I've been doing for the other. You're the fifth one so far. So what I've done for the other guys is I just had them briefly describe their journey and describe how they're a DDPY, why they're a DDPY success story to kind of get their attention, and then I'll go back and kind of walk you along the journey and stuff. But I want you to get their attention and tell them what you've done so far.
Okay, so I have lost 120 pounds doing DDPY. And I strictly do DDPY. I never started walking or running or going to the gym. So all of my success has been 100% through DDPY and following their nutrition plan as well.
Wow.
I lost 100 pounds in just under a year. And then that's kind of when I entered the Positively Unstoppable Challenge. And I lost the last 20 pounds during that time frame. So yeah, it's been a really incredible journey. When I started off, I was right around 300 pounds, and I was in a lot of pain. It was really rough. I didn't like myself. I struggled with the simple tasks, getting off the couch, walking up the stairs. All those things, were a struggle for me. So I had tried to lose weight by going to the gym and working out, and I had a little bit of success. I lost about 30 pounds, but then I got injured, and I was laid out for like 4 to 6 weeks, and then I went back to it, and then I got injured again, and the same thing happened, and then it happened a third time, and I was like, you know what? I give up. I can't keep doing this. My son was really young at the time. He was under 2 years old. So I needed to still be able to pick him up and care for him and do all these things. And I couldn't do it anymore every time I'd get injured. So I just said I'd rather be 300 pounds and be able to take care of my son than to, keep trying at something that's not working. So that's kind of a little bit about my story.
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I thought Brian, when I took his, that maybe he was the first one I've talked to that has only done DDP yoga. But I think he might have he might have, he's done some of the kickboxing and other things, but he's basically only done DDP yoga. But you're the first. I think you may be the only one so far that's just 100% DDPY yoga and DDPY nutrition. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really wanted to see what I could do with the program after I, kind of got the ball rolling and I saw I was having success. I could have easily added in other things like walking is such a great exercise and it gets you out and you get fresh air. I think I might start doing that in the future, but I really wanted to see how far I could take it just doing DDP yoga. And I started out in the beginner program, and that was so challenging for me, but I stuck to it, and I moved my way up from intermediate into advanced, and right around then is when the jacked workouts started coming out. So I was able to move into that next stage of things, and then after a few months, I added in the jack straps and took it to another level. So it was like Dallas says, there's always some place to go. So for me, I felt like, I started at beginner and I've just been slowly been working my way up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So tell me, where's home? Where did you grow up?
In the Chicago suburbs. So I was born and raised here all my life. So this is home for
Chicago
me.
Bear fans?
Yes, I am a Bears fan. I bleed blue and orange all the way. My husband, he is not necessarily like a team fan. He likes
Oh, he's
players.
getting.
So he doesn't have loyalty to a team like I do. I love all my Chicago
What
sports
about
teams, but he's more of like he likes players. I don't know any of the players, so I stick with the team.
White Sox or Cubs?
Oh, Cubs. Cubs all the way. Yes.
That's a big divide up
Yes,
there, isn't it?
100%. It's a huge rivalry, and like the Crosstown Classic is huge. I mean, Chicago, I think all around is a huge sports city.
I still remember Saturday Night Live making fun of it back way before your time. The Chicago, uh, I don't know. When were you that? How do you mind me asking you your age?
I'm
36.
36.
So when?
I'm an
And I'm
80s
trying
baby.
to remember when Jim McMahon was there and they won the championship, the Chicago Bears. Jim McMahon and the refrigerator.
That was 85, so that's when I
That
was
was the year,
born.
yeah.
but but we still hold
That's
on to
right.
that. It's still our pride and
That was
joy.
a great time. They had the refrigerator running the ball, and Jim McMahon was wearing the commissioner's name on his
Oh,
headband because he
really?
got in trouble for wearing like I don't know some advertising for some sport. And so he went back and I think he got a
Oh,
headband and I think it said Goodell or something. Make it. I mean they were kind of rowdy group. It was a lot of fun. They kicked
we know how to
yeah
party in
they kicked
Chicago.
everybody's butt that year. Walter Payton. I can't remember who else. All right. Where'd you go to school? Tell us about your education.
So I went to school in the suburbs. I went to high school at Buffalo Grove High School. Shout out to my Bisons. And I had an awesome time in high school. Um, you know, I feel like I was kind of just like in the middle of the road. I was in my junior and senior year, I was on the dance company, and it was called Orchesis, and I loved it. It changed my life. I learned so much through doing that, and really about working hard and seeing things through. And my senior year, I was co-president of the dance company, so that was something I was really excited about and worked really hard for. But I didn't go to college. So after I graduated, um, I was on my own. So my dad moved to Colorado, and I had to find an apartment. And that's, I'm a really independent person. And that's kind of where it all stems for. I've always had to take care of myself. I've always had to, if I wanted something, I had to do it myself. Um, so I was a waitress at a restaurant, and that's how I paid the bills. And then when I was 19, I decided, hey, I don't want to be renting an apartment anymore. I want to buy a condo.
Ah,
And this was like right when the market was super hot in 2005. And I somehow managed to get a loan. And after I got my condo, I figured, I'm like, I need to do something else other than being a waitress if I like want to continue to survive. So I started working at an HR outsourcing company out here. And again, like that's where I really learned about working hard. And, if you want something, you have to really put the time in and go for it. So I started out in customer service, was there for a few years, and then I kept moving on up in the company, and I wound up being a project manager. So, even though I didn't have a college degree, my work ethic and, my desire and, just my initiative, it really spoke volumes. I kind of had a reputation there where, if you wanted something done, like I'll get it done. But I really, really worked hard, and it was such a great experience being there. So I was there for almost 12 years. And, my company got bought out and I got laid off. And that's kind of where this whole DDPY story kind of started. Was I got laid off from my job of almost 12 years. I was the breadwinner in the family. I always had the stable job. We always had me to fall back on. I had the insurance. It was really, on me. And we decided at that time, my son was almost 2. He was close to 2 years old, just under 2. And we decided, that I would be a stay-at-home mom for a while. And so I took that opportunity to start going to the gym and get healthier, because I was like, this is my chance. I'm going to turn it all around. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to get in shape. And then all the injuries started happening, and it was rough transitioning from being a working mom to being a stay-at-home mom. So that was really tough on me. And then also trying to improve myself and coming up against so many obstacles, and it just like completely blew out my confidence. So I really was at a point where I had given up. I had lost my job, along with losing my job, a big part of my identity. And now I was a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't really know where I fit. So DDPY helped me do so much more than, just become healthier. It helped me find myself again. And it helped me, get back a piece of me that was missing.
oh man, that's beautiful. But not the bad parts. Yeah, not the bad parts. The DDP, the DDP yoga helped you find yourself and get your confidence back. That's beautiful. The other parts sound pretty tough. I guess I need to clarify my responses. But now let me ask you. Can I ask you a couple of questions about that period?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in high school, it sounds
Yes.
like you weren't large. I mean, if you were the captain of the dance team.
No, I was. I was. I've been big my whole life, but in spite of that, like that's where my ethic came in. Like I had to give more than like the other girls, because they were smaller, they could do things easier. So if I wanted to be able to do what they were doing, I had to work harder for it. So I was the biggest person on the team. And, that had its challenges, but I didn't let it stop me.
That's awesome. Did um the you know I mean you've had this commitment, this drive through everything that you've talked about so far. Like I mean, it almost like the positively unstoppable describes everything through through this journey all the way from high school. Why didn't you go to California with your dad?
Colorado.
Colorado, Colorado.
So yes. So we would go to Colorado every year to visit my
Yeah.
grandparents because they lived out there. And I think it was kind of always my dad's dream to retire out there. And that's just he loves fishing, he loves the mountains. But where he lives and where my grandparents were, it's a very small town. It's called Pueblo, Colorado. It's about like 30-ish, 40 minutes south of Colorado Springs. And it's a poor town. It's bars and booze and not a lot of businesses out there and just not a lot of opportunities. So, I was more than welcome to go with him. And, he gave me the option. It was, you can move out here and stay with me and, do whatever. Or if you want to stay here, you can, but you're on your own basically. He was really lucky that he was able to retire when he was 50 years old because his company got bought out and they gave him an early retirement option. But I knew if I moved out there that I would never do anything with my life. So I knew I had to stay here. And it wasn't easy. It was really hard because I had nothing. I had a waitressing job. But again, it's like if you want to make money as a waitress, you have to earn
Mm-hmm.
it. Like you have to go out there every day. You have to, engage with your customers. You have to be nice. You have to be on point with your service so that you could make money. And, that's kind of how I took it. Like, this is literally what I need to do to make money. And I can't just come to work and like not show up for myself. So, it was a job that I really had to put a lot of effort into to in order to make money. And if you don't go to work one day, guess what? You don't
That's
get
right.
paid. You don't get money, and then you can't pay rent that day.
Man, that had to be
I
just
will.
scary just to be on your own in Chicago at 18.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was hard. I mean, I'm in the suburbs, so like I felt safe where I was, but it's I've always said the moment you're an adult is when you have to go buy your own toilet paper. Because when you're a kid, like toilet paper is always
Yeah,
there. Like it shows up when you need it. If it's not in the bathroom, you just have to go into the hallway or, the cabinet or whatever and grab the toilet paper. But when you realize you have to like buy your own toilet
I
paper,
love it.
you're an
Yeah,
adult.
that's right.
So I had to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot really, really, really young. And that's when I had to learn to rely on myself, probably a little bit too much. But, you know, it's for me, it's been a big benefit.
So what? Do you
So,
mind me asking what? Where's your mother? What happened to your mother?
so my parents are divorced. They got divorced when I was really young. And she is here in the Chicago suburbs, but she had remarried at that time. And she's never like had her own space, so there wasn't no option for me to live with her. So so it was
That's
all me.
so. Tell me about this HR job. You got a job, started at the
Yeah.
bottom, worked your way up, and it sounds like that
Yeah.
people. Is this like where you can get temp people to send out to do work for you, and y'all handle the payroll and all those taxes, and then they just pay you an hourly rate for the people? Is that something like that?
Yeah, so we worked with all really large companies, and I was in the benefits department, which was honestly super awesome because I got to learn a lot about things that are essential for adults to learn about your medical, your 401ks, pensions, all of that stuff is essential to daily life. And nobody sits down and explains that to you. So for me to have this job where I was learning how these benefits worked was really great. especially on the medical and 401k side. I mean, these days you have to know what you're getting into to understand, your benefits and what's happening. You don't want to be in a spot where you're at the doctor and then you realize something's not covered, or you get older and you don't have a retirement plan or whatever it might be. So I started out as a temp employee, and I was in customer service helping during annual enrollment season. And it was basically a temp to hire position. And I mean, this was a huge company at the time. So they had brought on almost like 1,000 temporary
Wow, it
employees
is huge.
to help with different different
Hmm.
clients. So at the end of the annual enrollment period is when they see like, okay, who do we kind of want to keep around? And I was in the top 10% of the people that got hired. So I mean, I came in early, I stayed in late. I had the waitressing job too as a second job, and so I would go to work in the morning and then do my restaurant job at night. Sometimes I would call into my restaurant job because they needed me at at the HR job, and that's where I saw my growth happening. So that's why I would pick that over going to the restaurant. But I mean, I was offered a job and hired on permanently, and I worked with several different large clients, and they saw that I had just kind of I enjoyed the job. I liked helping other people. So I became like a facilitator for our temporary employees, where I would, onboard them, teach them the material, help them get started. And from there I just kept growing. I went into the claims and appeals department after that, and that's really where I really got to hone in my communication
Great.
skills, because I was in charge of responding to appeals. So I'd have to write them in form letters and make sure I'm using appropriate language, and I'd be scored on different things. So that gave me the opportunity to work on communication, and so kind of at each stage, once I felt like I really kind of got everything I could out of a position, I would look to move further. So then I moved into project management, and I learned a whole bunch of stuff during that time. I got to work with clients directly. I got to work on, um, just with websites, with user experience things, and total rewards. So it was a really exciting opportunity. And then from there, it kind of moved into media stuff and help with that. So, I mean, it was a really great job. I made a lot of friends there, which is the thing that I miss the most about it. But I mean, I grew up there.
Hmm.
I started working there 3 days after I had turned 20. And so, I went through breakups there.
Yeah.
I met my husband from a mutual friend there. When I got engaged, one of the first things I wanted to do was come to work and like tell everybody about it. And I got to invite, my coworkers to my
Yeah.
wedding, and they were there, when I announced my pregnancy, and just all these things. And I had trouble getting pregnant and had to go through fertility treatments, and my insurance was there to help us out with that. So I owe a lot to that job that I had, and I think that's why it was so difficult for me when that chapter of my life was over, because it was a huge part of my identity. And no matter what was going on, I always had my job to fall back on. And now it was my chance to have me to fall back
Okay.
on
Let me stop you
and
right
have
there. What? So when?
yeah.
What? So, as a project manager, how many people did you oversee?
So I didn't oversee people, I oversaw
Oh, okay.
clients. So I had about I think 7 to 10 clients.
And you said some of them big clients. You said.
Yeah, so I had, yeah, a lot of big clients. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who they
That's
were,
cool though.
but they were all Fortune 500
Wow.
companies. So, I mean, these are like the big
That's
guys.
awesome.
So, and it was yeah, it's really great, working with different kinds of people and learning about different kinds of benefits and helping them help their
I'm surprised
employees.
that one of them didn't hire you away from this service. So, but all right. So, when were you laid off from this position?
That was March
March
2017.
20 of 17. Okay. So up until this point, we're talking about you. I mean, you've basically been on your own. You've provided for yourself. You work in two jobs and going forward in the company, doing a great job. How was your health during all this period?
So I would say I was relatively healthy for my size. I never had um, any big like major problems. I have PCOS, which is something that a lot of women have, and it causes, um, weight gain is one of the major symptoms. And doctors will tell you, when you want to lose weight, that if you have PCOS, it's nearly impossible to do. Um, so I've dealt with that since I was a teenager, and then
What
it wasn't
what does
until
PCOS stand for?
it stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and infertility is also a factor in that. So that was part of my infertility issues, and so it's something that, gosh, I don't have the stats here, but I want to say it's maybe like one in six women have. So it's fairly common, but it's something that is a consideration in weight loss and how you go about your nutrition and what works for your body.
How does the how does it affect the weight loss? I mean, how does it? Are you supposed to eat something different than normally, or is it like a hormone? Like a thyroid issue that your metabolism, or do you know?
So it's not a thyroid issue. It's separate from that. Um, from what I understand, it's having big weight gains is just a part of having PCOS. It's a really common side effect of
Uh,
it. And there's different things, like you could take different like medications to try to control it based on what symptoms you do have. So it's something that's different for everybody, but it's harder to lose weight when you do have it.
so how much did you weigh when you left high school?
Oh, geez, that I don't know for sure. I was definitely I my best guess is I want to say around 250.
And what was your heaviest weight?
Um, my heaviest weight, I don't know the exact number because I've never written it down, but between 302 to 309, somewhere in between there. I don't remember the exact number because it is a number that
Don't want
I did not want to
to.
see. so, so yeah, I stayed there for a little bit, but not too long. Um, but yeah, I've been over 300 pounds before, and yeah, it's somewhere I don't want to see again.
All right, so we got you um, through the job with the HR service. We got you to where they were bought out and laid you off, right? So here you
hmm
are. You bought your own condo. You provided for yourself. I didn't get into when did you said you met your husband through a friend at that work. When did you meet your husband and marry your husband?
So I met him in 2006, and we got married in 2010.
Oh, okay. And you've got
Yeah, so
one child.
he was in college when I met him. He was finishing up his early childhood degree, and he wanted to become a teacher. So, he had a little bit of, a struggle trying to find that kind of a job. Um, but I mean, we made it work, and I was able to kind of hold things down while he was, figuring out what he was doing with that. And then he became a kindergarten teacher for a few years, and he loved that. And I loved it because I got to go in for like the classroom parties and stuff. And the kids would make me like Valentines,
No.
or they would draw me pictures. It was super cute. Um, and then he got an opportunity um, to get involved in the company that his dad was working for, and we saw a really good possibility for something that he could grow into. So he left teaching and started to do that, and that was in 2015. So at the point where I think it was about 2015. It was very close to the time I got laid off. He was still pretty fresh into that role. So it was very like, oh gosh, what's happening? Like what are we going to do type of thing.
And when did you? I know you've spoken about one child. You have one or more?
Do we
No, I
want to
said,
have
how
more?
many children do
Is
you
that
have? I didn't know if you had.
Oh, we
Just
just
have
have
the one.
one, Connor. Yes, he is going to be 7 in
Oh
April.
wow!
So, yeah, he's getting big now, and he's just the best. We are so so blessed that we were able to have a child, and I mean, it was a long, hard road, but we just kept going for it and stayed on that path, and we were lucky enough to be able to have a little baby boy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So he would have been 3 when you got laid off. Is that about right? 2 or 3?
He was born in 2015, and I got laid off in 2017. So he was just under 2, just by like the months or whatever when that happened. So he was still pretty little. So he doesn't ever remember me being a working mom.
So so you got laid off. You switched your identities. You became a working, stay-at-home mom. You said it
Yep.
affected your confidence and your, um, you know, you basically, had to change the way you looked at yourself. Tell us a little bit about that period of your life.
It
Yeah.
sucked. It was hard. There's no way to like sugarcoat that. I mean, it was really a challenge for me because when got laid off, they said, okay, you still have to work here for 2 weeks if you want to get your severance. So I found out I was being laid off, but I still had to like put in a good performance for the next 2 weeks. So I was very like torn between trying to like move forward and
Uh,
heal and still give this job all I've got. So that was really, mentally very tough on me. And then once, I was finally able to work through that, I was depressed for a while because I didn't know where I fit in or what I was bringing to the table for my family. Like, what do I have to offer now that I can't, monetarily contribute to the family anymore? And then, I did have a lot of confidence from my job because I was able to do it well. I knew what I was doing. I knew the people, I knew the product, I knew how to fix things, and I couldn't fix myself. So that was really, really a big challenge for me. Luckily, I was a part of a mom's group in the area, and they're amazing. They offer, play dates and moms' nights, just opportunities for moms to get out of the house, kids to socialize, and just, make new friendships. So during the time I was with that group, I would only go to like the mom's nights because I was working during the day. I couldn't really go to any of the play dates. I had been to like maybe a few of them while I was on maternity leave when Connor was first born. Um, but it was nice that I had them there to help me through this transition because so many of them were, really established in their careers and then they became moms and they either decided to become a stay-at-home parent or, something similar to my situation where they transitioned from a working parent to a stay-at-home parent. So I got really involved with that. I became one of the co-organizers, and I started, setting up a lot of play dates, and so it helped me to kind of get through that tough time where okay, now I can have a new purpose. I can help connect moms and kids with one another, and you know, you just need that connection with other people, especially people that, are going through the same thing as you. When you're at work, you have people that are in the grind with you. They know the struggles, they know the deadlines, and then you form this bond with one another. Um, when you become a new mom, it is tough. It is so hard being a new mom. There are so many expectations. I know for me, I put so many expectations on myself to be a certain kind of mom, and I felt like I was failing at all of them. So, to be able to have a group of women there to lift you up and support you and laugh and cry with you and be like, yep,
Yeah.
I know what that's like. Here's how you can get through that. Or, it was really incredible. So I took that opportunity to get more involved with, my mom's group. And I'm still a part of it now, even though my kiddo is in school. I run a lot of the mom's nights because I think it's so important for something like I preach with DDPY is, making yourself a priority. And it's the same thing with motherhood. You have to make yourself a priority because no one else is going to do it for you. Like the chances of, someone coming over and saying, "Hey, I'm going to watch your kid go out, have a nice time for a while." Like that's not going to happen. Like you have to make yourself a priority and find the time to get away and just connect with other people that get it.
I mean, it sounds like another field that you just got involved in and then went wholehearted in and moved up through the ranks and took control of. It sounds like there's definitely
Well,
a pattern
yeah.
here, Stephanie, to your life, isn't there? I'm starting to see a pattern.
And well, that's the thing is I said this in my my DDPY story
Right.
that they put together for me. Like I gave all the best parts of me to other people. Like I gave so much time and effort to my job, so much time and effort to organizing things, so much time and effort to my son and my amazing husband, and like there was nothing left for me at the end of the day. So like you look at all of like these great parts of my life and then like there's me at the end tired. I'm not I have nothing left for me. So that's where DDPY kind of came into place and showed me I don't have to be last. Like if I do make myself a priority and I am able to be healthy, like nourish myself with good things, like feel good in my skin. Like I can be better for everybody. Like I can do more things. I can, try things, not let fear stop me anymore. So that was the missing piece to for me for my life was that I had to like kind of stop and like maybe like put the other stuff on the back burner for a little bit and focus on me.
I think that's awesome. Um, you touch on a lot of things that affect so many different people's lives. It's beautiful that you're sharing about it. But you had mentioned, I want to back up a little bit. I'm going to walk you through the DDP yoga journey in a minute, but
Okay.
um, you talked about earlier that you tried a couple of exercises and got hurt and had tried a couple of other things. What did you do between the time not just between the time you got laid off, but I would say unsuccessful attempts to help you physically and mentally up until you found DDP yoga.
So I was doing at the gym. I would do a few things. I would do body pump, which I absolutely love. I love that class so much. But the thing is, like, doing it at 300 pounds was rough on my body. Mm-hmm. Like, I had to modify things, which is totally fine, but even the modifications beat up my body a lot. So out of that, I like ruptured my SI joints, and I was in so much pain. I mean, when that happened, I was out for almost 8 weeks, and like between like 4 to 6 weeks, I was laid out on the couch. I would have to roll off the couch, like climb up to stand up so I could go to the bathroom, like be in pain trying to, sit down and get up. And it was just awful. So that was like one of my biggest injuries. And
so
then
tell me, SI joint, that's the low hip, low back. What is that?
Back,
low back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's excruciating, and I don't know like all the mechanics of things, but it kind of like ties into different areas. So I remember when it happened, I went to my chiropractor, and I was like, my back was spasming out on the table so bad. I was just crying. I was in tears because the pain was so awful, and I couldn't do anything. And like my treatment was getting adjustments and doing massage therapy, which helped tremendously. But like it was so painful because they're just like working on that area, and I'm literally like in tears. But like sometimes it's like there's just no way through it but through it. And that was one of those times. So that was after that one, I just gave up. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
That body pump, I did some of those classes early on and they just killed me. I mean, you're lifting a light weight that looks like nothing weight, but you're doing it, over and over and over and over to a loud music and a little cute girl yelling at you, and it's
and at a certain pace, and you're trying to keep up,
it's
and you're
a beating.
Huffing and puffing.
Mary loves it. I give it up. That's too tough for me, I can tell you. All right, then you.
Yeah, I mean it's
Les
great,
Mills body pump.
Yeah, yes. It's like I said, it was a great workout, but like it wasn't for me, especially at where my body was at. And then another thing I was doing was Couch to 5K, which was like really awesome. Again, very challenging for me. But I had made it through I forget how many weeks the program is. And I decided to reward myself with a new pair of running shoes. Or just with a pair of running shoes, because shoes I had were just old shoes. And I'm like, I'm a runner now. Like, I need shoes. So I just but I didn't go to a running store. I just went to Kohl's and grabbed cute looking shoes. And whatever shoes I grabbed just absolutely destroyed my feet. So I developed plantar fasciitis, which was excruciating for me. I was laid out on the couch. It hurt so much for me to just walk from the couch to the bathroom that I couldn't do anything else. So I couldn't, wrangle my kid to go out on play dates. I couldn't, get up and go to the grocery store. So it was just fast food all the time. I couldn't do anything. So, I mean, I was really defeated, especially, I don't know if you can, relate to it, Vance, but when you're trying so hard to do something good for yourself and then it just smacks you down. Yeah. It's
absolutely.
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
I'm trying. Yeah, you're trying to fix yourself, but nothing's working.
It's unbelievable. You because you wait and you're trying to do something and you get excited and it going well, and then an injury hits you, and it just totally deflates you. Defeats you. It just deflates all the air out of your body. It's demoralizing, I guess. It's
Yeah.
and
And then you've got no
yeah.
confidence, and then you've got no hope,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go into that spiral of like, why even
Yeah.
try? And it's a cycle. It's tough. It is so
And food's
hard.
always there to help.
Yeah. I mean, food won't injure
Yeah.
you. I mean,
It,
to some extent, but I mean, yeah, and it's so accessible and it's easy and it's what you know.
did you try to do anything to help, like with the mental issues during this period, with confidence and your
Um,
depression or anything like that?
no, I didn't do anything during that time. I mean, I will say I am a huge advocate of therapy. I've gone to therapy for years. But during that time period, I guess I felt like the problem wasn't big enough to warrant therapy, which is so not the case. I mean, I would have very, very much benefited from it. I also have like, I get the winter blues every year. Some people call it the winter blues. Some people call it seasonal affective disorder, where again it's weight gain, it's depression, insomnia, fatigue. It's a rough time for me. So um, around the time I got laid off is like kind of during that, the tail end of that time of year for me. And, one day my husband, looked at me and he's like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on with you?" Because I would stay up all night. I would stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning. I wouldn't get out of bed until like 9 o'clock. And then I would need a nap around 1 o'clock, and I would nap from like 1 to 4. And I was just in the cycle, and the dishes were never done. It was fast food all the time. It was hard. It was so hard on me. Um, but when he asked me that, and I was like passing by him. So I was like walking as he kind of like must have seen something that like
mm-hmm.
made him go, whoa. Um, but he was like, are you okay? And I was just like, I just feel like a big pile of garbage, and like walked away. And he's like, what? I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm fine. And that was always my fallback on, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Don't worry. I'm fine. Because I didn't want anybody else to worry about me. Again, see, this is like the opposite of side of being so
Mm-hmm.
independent and relying on yourself is you don't ask other people for help. And so that is a lesson I had to learn, that it was okay to ask for help. Um, it was a big lesson my father-in-law helped me learn. He saw me coming from a mile away when I first met him. He saw how independent I was and that I, would just, do whatever I can. And he was like, it's okay to ask for help sometimes. Um, so just, through all this, it's something I've almost relearned is, it's okay to ask for help. Um, and, you don't always have to be so strong. There's people that are willing to help you, and that's okay. So, but yeah, I felt really bad about myself, and I just after he noticed that is kind of when I started coming out of the fog and being like, okay, something needs to change.
I think you did the great intro into the DDP journey, but I'm just impressed. How did the father-in-law figure you out? How did the father-in-law open you up? That seemed like a weird
Yeah.
person to be the one to open you up.
Well, he was a really smart guy. So like I said, I met my husband in 2006, and I had bought my condo in 2005. And my father-in-law loved doing taxes. Like, he's like a number guy. He was a numbers guy, and all that. So um, when we first started dating, like that following tax season, I was like, oh yeah, I always take it to H&R Block, whatever. And he's like, no, I'll help you with that. And then so he was looking at my return from last year, from the previous year, and he was like, you bought a property, you should have gotten money back. And I'm like, oh no, it's okay, you don't need to look at this, don't worry. And he's like, no, I can see what's going on here. But I'm like, no. Like, I kept, like, being like, no, it's okay. I got this. You don't have to worry about it. Like, no, whatever. And he was like, it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it alone anymore. So, like, that's kind of how, like, he could just, being independent and strong was such a big part of my identity that it was almost like the only part of my identity. And I suppose I came off that way quite a bit. And so yes, so it was via taxes. That he, like,
I'm sure you had to be that way at 18 on your own. I mean, I'm sure you had to have that guard up around you all the time.
Yeah. I mean, even from, before that, if I ever wanted, to do anything, I had to figure out how to do it on my own. So it was something that was very much ingrained in me. And, it's saved me in a lot of situations. But, maybe I missed the boat on a couple things because I was too stubborn to ask for help. But, luckily, like, I had my father-in-law there to kind of help guide me and soften me up a little bit in that area where, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. You're not alone. Like, there's so many people going through life and different things that, like, you're not alone. There's always somebody there that's, going to be able to be a sounding board or help you or give advice or anything like that.
Last thing I promise, you threw out a minute ago that you're doing a lot of therapy. I mean, you've done a lot of therapy. Is that something
Yes.
you're okay with me talking to you about, or would you rather just
Yes,
move on
yes.
to the DDP yoga journey?
No, I think mental health and therapy is so important to talk about.
All right, so tell us if you want to. I mean, it's up to you. Tell us a little bit about your therapy journey, that kind of deal.
So it was actually with me and my husband. We went through couples therapy. We went through a really rocky time in our marriage. They say that first year of marriage is the hardest, and boy, was that true for us. The first 3 months of being married were absolutely incredible. And after that, it got tough. It got really tough. So we, started seeing a therapist together. And then, like, we saw different therapists individually. Then we, like, saw a therapist together again. And it was hard. Therapy is hard. And for me, when I talk to people about it, I kind of describe it as, like, it's going to your issues are probably going to get worse before they get better. And here's why. You are literally, like, opening up old wounds, right? Like, you've tried to, like, heal from these things, but they haven't healed the right way. So they're, like, kind of, like, infected. You have to go back in there, clean it out before you can really heal. So it's tough, but it is so worth it. I mean, my husband and I were like ready to get divorced, and like we came back from the dead with our relationship. I mean, I feel like so many people see us now and they're like, "Oh, you guys are, like, so happy and perfect," and it's like, well, it wasn't always like this, trust me. Like, I mean, Vance, you've been married for a while. It's not always pretty. It's
I've
tough,
been married forever. Shit.
right? It's
Yeah.
work, and it's a choice every day.
My dad always said
So
that you got, both, and that both of you go into the marriage, and each have your own image and expectation of what the role of the other spouse is supposed to be. And neither, nobody's ever changing. So it's
Yes. It's a
yeah.
journey. Yeah, so I mean, it was very beneficial for us. I mean, we went to therapy for probably like 3 years.
Mhm.
And we would maybe take breaks when things were good and then like check in. I know like after I had our son, it was rough. I had another rough bout after I had my
Mhm.
son. And so again, I went back to therapy, and that helped me out tremendously.
Mhm.
But yes, therapy can be so beneficial in so many different ways, and you will learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about how you handle things, what triggers that you might have. For my husband and I, it was really really good for our communication skills. I mean, now I'm so thankful like we hardly ever fight, um, because like we've learned how to like communicate with each other, and um, like really be there for one another. Where before we were like at odds. I mean, we fought all the time. And I'm not talking like, oh, like little fights. Like it was knockdown, drag out fights. I mean, yelling, screaming. It was some of like the worst time like ever. But again, you take the time, you put the time in, you put the work in, like you'll see the results. And like for us, I think we're both so glad that we didn't give up, that we worked really, really hard, and like we believed in our marriage.
Look what you
It wasn't
produced.
easy, but we just, one day at a
That's
time.
right.
And sometimes it's not even one day at a time. Sometimes it's one breath at a time, and that's okay.
All right. How did you find DDP yoga?
CDP yoga. So, like so many other people, I randomly came across the Arthur Borman video on Facebook. And I want to say it was about 2018 ish that I came across it. So it was maybe a year or so after I had gotten laid off from my job. I had given up hope because 2017 was basically a wash for me from getting laid off to getting injured constantly. So I had like kind of seen it in 2018. And then I was so inspired, but I just didn't do anything about it. But then in 2019, it popped up again. And I showed it to Dan. I was like, hey, did you know that DDP was doing this? Have you seen this video? And he was like, oh, yeah, I've kind of heard about that. I was like, oh, okay. And then other things kept randomly popping up, like the Chris Jericho video. And I was like, oh, did you know this wrestler was doing this? He's like, oh, yeah, I kind of heard that or whatever. So it just kept popping up for me. And then I remember it was August 2019. All AEW All Out was coming to Chicago, and Dallas was doing a workshop, a DDPY workshop. And I said to my husband, I'm like, oh, look, he's coming here and he's doing, a class. That'd be so cool if I, checked it out or something. And Dan was like, well, I'm going to the show. I can go get a picture with DDP if you want, and I can send it to you. Because I like didn't buy tickets to go to the workshop. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so mean. But so like I let that opportunity pass me by, and I didn't do anything about it. I didn't go to the show, didn't get tickets. My husband and his friends like went and saw like the wrestling show.
So
And so
were
like,
you wrestling fans?
oh, that's a good question. So my husband has been a huge wrestling fan like his whole life. He would tell me stories about how when he was in high school, him and his friends would like jump on a bus and like go out to Philadelphia to like ECW shows. I'm like, what? That's crazy. Your mom let you do that? No way. Uh, and so they also did backyard wrestling. So they had a ring. They each had like, Dan was always the ref. So he was reffing. They had announcers. They had wrestlers. So they put on shows every week. They'd like get like their crowd going. So that was like in high school. So they were super into it. After I think like college time, he started like doing traveling. So he's done I think like TNA shows. He's gone all over the country like to ref. One actually super cool thing that he did was he had a WWE match, and it was two women that were wrestling, and it was filmed. And then
wait a minute.
One day we were
Yes.
Yes.
What do you mean he had a WWE?
He was the ref.
He was a ref of a WWE match?
Yes.
How did he get?
Which is super cool.
How did he get to do that?
So he's just like grown up in the wrestling business, and he like knew different promoters, and I think just like one night like it worked out. And then we were watching The Biggest Loser one day, and one of the contestants was a former WWE wrestler, and she had broken her back. And so they were like showing a clip of her wrestling and like her like breaking her back. And it was Dan as the referee.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So it was super cool.
Damn, so his one time in the WWE ended up with a woman breaking her back.
Yes, but he was just a ref. So, then it wound up like being on TV. I don't know like what network it was on, but it was on a major network.
So don't
like,
let Dan referee anymore, is what you're saying.
No. He covered it. It was great. It was perfect. But it was just so cool that like his opportunity on with WWE, like he got to see it again many, many years later. But so yes, he is a huge wrestling fan. For me, I grew up with wrestling again because I was an 80s baby. So it's always been like a big part of the culture, I feel like, growing up. And like my brother and my uncle and my grandma, I had like a few family members that were like really into it. But like I also was maybe like a preteen ish age when like the Attitude Era came out, so it was all like suck it all the time and all of that, and crotch chopping. So I was not a fan of, but yeah, it's crazy.
So
I like got off track. But then I met Dan, and so I would go to all his shows with him, and then I would work the merch table. So I would sell stuff for him. Sometimes I'd, help out with concessions. Sometimes I'd help work the door, put the chairs away. So like I feel like I've been a part of like the wrestling family side of it for a long time. So I'm like more of a casual fan, I suppose. But
so he's still putting on shows to this day?
Yeah, he's still working shows. He is in the FWF family and the ACW Wisconsin wrestling family, so he's like working out of two different places right now. But so tomorrow we're going to a show.
Wow.
So he's roughing a show. So Connor and I will go up there. We'll root for him. We have here. I'm gonna grab it real quick. I make signs for him.
Oh man! All right. What's it say? I can't read it.
So like, it says, "I'm here for the
ref."
Here for the ref. But yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, he took a hiatus from it for about 10 years or so. Well, actually, probably less than that. But yeah, he saw all of all of the things I was accomplishing with DDPY, and it made him want to start going back after his dreams. So he started reaching out to different people that he used to know, saying, "Hey, do you know anybody local nearby that I could kind of get involved with?" And then just from there, the last year has been incredible. So I'm super proud of him.
So he's back to reffing?
He's done so amazing.
He's back to refereeing?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what's all these goodies around you? You've got this thing on the microphone, and is that associated? What is all this stuff?
So my husband is a huge collector of like all things like retro and vintage and all of that. And he is a big Turtles fan, as you can see, and a big video game fan. There's like some video games here. I think DDP is over there. There he is. But yeah, so my husband, along with his regular job and then refereeing, he also is like a collector of all things video games and like action figures. So he actually goes to Texas twice a year and sells at a couple conventions out there.
I'm going to have to go see y'all.
Yeah. Well, I don't get to go because apparently it's more important to bring product than your wife. But I'm just kidding. He's like maximizing his space, and like I could never make that drive by myself. So yeah, but he's out there, and he does a little bit of everything. He's incredible.
So what's the Bitter Marks? Tell us what Bitter Marks is.
So yes. Bitter Marks here is his wrestling podcast that he does with a couple of his friends. It's about them talking about like their like old times. I don't even know how to describe it. I will fully admit I've only listened to one episode, which is the one that I was on.
You don't have to admit that. I don't think Mary ever listens to. I don't think Mary ever listens to mine, so you're okay.
I'm with Mary. I get you, girl. So, but yeah, I haven't listened to his podcast myself, but he's got Bitter Marks podcast, and he also has another podcast called Flips and Bumps, which is him and another friend talking about, like buying things and like flipping them. And so,
yeah, that's cool.
Yes, he does a little bit of everything.
So where would you find those podcasts if somebody wanted to listen to them? Anywhere podcasts are streamed.
Yes. And YouTube, maybe?
Yeah, and YouTube. All right.
Give them a follow on Instagram.
Yeah, all right.
And then you can find out.
Okay, so how did you get to DDP Yoga? How did you start doing it?
Oh, yes. So that's what we were talking about. So I kept hinting to Dan, like, have you seen this wrestler? And just kind of casually bringing it up. And I think he kind of saw that it was something I was interested in. And for Christmas 2019, he got me a year subscription to the app.
Wow.
I was so surprised about and super happy because, again, he was willing to invest in me when I wasn't willing to invest in myself. Wow. So he saw something there that, could be great. And he got it for me for Christmas, and I was excited and scared out of my mind because now this meant I had to do it. So that is how I found out about it and how I got it. And then getting started was a whole other thing. So I got it for Christmas, but I didn't actually start until January 21st, 2020. So it took me almost a month to get started because I was so afraid of failing that I just couldn't do it. And I kept coming up with all these excuses like, oh, I need to get a heart rate monitor. Oh, I need to get a yoga block, or I want to be able to do it this way.
I would have had to argue with you because it doesn't sound like to me you failed at anything yet. You were captain of the damn dance club. You were, you run the damn, got up to the Fortune 500 and project manager, and now you're running the, you're taking over running of the moms group. I hadn't heard you fail at much.
Well, I don't know. there's been a lot of things I feel like I've fallen short on, and I don't know. Like I feel like I failed because I never went to college. But like I make myself feel better. I'm like, you know what? I just don't have a pile of student loan
That's
debt,
right.
and it's served me well. So it led me down the path that I was meant to go down. But yeah, I felt like I've failed myself so many times. I failed, fixing me and getting healthy and making a change.
Yeah.
So I I wasn't I feel like I can handle a lot of other things, but when it comes to like me personally, I am my toughest critic, and I don't nobody likes failing, but like I don't even try because I'm so afraid to fail is where I was at. So so yes, I kept just coming up with all these different things to kind of push it back a little further, and then, at one day I had everything ready. I was out of excuses. So I asked my husband to do the first workout with me because I was too scared to do it alone. And, of course, he was there for me. So when I opened the app, the first workout is a diamond dozen, and it's 45 minutes. And I was like, I don't, want to take up 45 minutes of Dan's time. So I like scrolled through the workouts to try to find something shorter. And I came across Salute the Road Warriors. And I'm like, okay, like it has a wrestling tie-in in the name. So like maybe he'll be interested. And it was like 23 minutes or so. Um, but but yeah, so he got on the mat with me, and that first workout kicked my butt. It was so hard. I mean, I was huffing and puffing.
I don't know if I know
I
that
couldn't hold
one. I
my
don't know if I. What color is it?
yeah. Oh, it's a blue
It's a blue
diamond.
dot.
It's a blue diamond. It's great. He is incredibly encouraging throughout the whole workout, which I think is maybe the only reason I was able to finish it.
I'm gonna have to do that one
But
now.
it's a
It's
lot of
called Salute the
yes.
Warrior.
Salute the Road
Salute the
Warrior.
Road
Yeah.
Warrior. All right, maybe that'll be our workout
Yeah.
today. You've given me
Oh,
a
yeah.
goal to do something to because
Okay.
I'm not to take over your podcast, but I've let myself get so out of shape again. I'm back to doing 20 and 30-minute workouts right now. Because you lose
Well,
it so
those,
fast at my age, man.
yeah.
It's crazy.
And I feel like at whatever level you're at, if you take the time to really like engage in the workout and focus, like it's still a killer workout. I've done that workout, since, and it's like get deeper in your road warrior position, do some more dynamic resistance. Like those workouts I think are designed at no matter what diamond it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna kick your butt.
That's right.
So so yeah, do it today and let me know
All
what you
right,
think of
I
it
will.
because
I
I think
will.
people really like it.
Salute the Road Warrior. All right, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm gonna write
Yes.
it down because I'll forget it. Salute the Road Warrior. And I'm drinking my lunch, so you keep seeing. Keep saying we're
Oh,
doing a smoothie, so I keep finishing my smoothie while you're talking. I'm not. So
oh, nice. What kind of smoothie do you have
it's
today?
we just got back from Costco, so it's got.
Okay.
See, it's all blue. It's good. It's um, Orgain chocolate, um, plant-based protein, and then it's got. We bought these little packages of frozen fruit, and it's like a superfoods. Frozen foods are like it's got spinach and all kinds of stuff, and then I put some spinach in there, extra spinach. It's got 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, a tablespoon of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of hemp hearts, and then it's got see what kind of milk. I think I put coconut milk in there, just unflavored
Okay.
coconut milk, and some ice. I think that's it. So it's got all kinds of stuff in there. It's all different color. It's probably got it
Nice.
all in my teeth. So
I can't see anything. You're good. You're good.
all right,
I love a good smoothie.
man, we're getting into them again. I didn't eat fruit forever when I lost all the weight, But now I'm going to a dietitian, and she wants me to add more stuff into my diet to maintain a healthy weight. So I'm back eating, trying to eat fruit where I don't binge it, which is hard for me. So anyway,
Yeah, it is. It is really hard.
all right. So you started with the Salute the Road Warrior.
Yes, and then I think Dan hit like the first maybe couple of workouts with me, but I realized that if I was gonna do this, I really needed to be able to do it on my own and do it, when it worked for me and my schedule. Um, so I started doing it, by myself, and it was so hard. It was so hard in the beginning, but I joined the DDP Yoga Facebook group, and I was so inspired by so many people. And one of the first people I found on there was Tina Gaspard. And, I always say, like, she is such a big part of my DDP yoga story because she got it the same day I did, Christmas 2019. And she started right away because she is a freaking warrior. And so she was about a month ahead of me in her journey. And so she would come up against, obstacles or roadblocks, and she would put posts out there about them. And I would just like soak it all up. Like I would very respectfully, politely stalk her at a distance and just like look for her messages and her posts and any encouragement she had out there. And so I was able to see her go through things that I would be coming up against in a few weeks. And I saw her tackle those obstacles and get through them to the other side. And then she would say, okay, well, now it's a little bit better. So that really helped me to keep going. I'm like, okay, if Tina can do it, I can do it. She said it gets a little bit better, or this week is going to be tough, or, now that it's been a few months, this is where I'm at. So that was like a huge, huge part of me staying consistent in the beginning, was being a part of that group and having Tina out there to, post her experience. I always encourage people to, put themselves out there because you never know who you're going to help.
Absolutely.
And everyone is just, so welcoming. And taking those 6 pictures is crucial. That was another big piece that helped me keep going. Is my body did not change a lot in the beginning. I would say for the first 3 months, I pretty much looked exactly the same, body-wise. I had maybe lost, 10 or 15 pounds, but at 300 pounds, that doesn't make a big difference. But my flexibility was changing, and I could see my flexibility changing in the photos. I could feel the stamina in my body. I was getting stronger. So all of those things like helped me to start building that confidence again, and helped me to start thinking like, hey, like maybe I could do this. Maybe I could take this somewhere. And at 6 months, I decided that I would, put myself out there and make a big progress post about what I had done over the past 6 months. So I had lost about 35-ish pounds. Like my leg went from being like down here to like all the way up here. Had tremendous success, I felt like, in 6 months. And everyone was so supportive and encouraging, and it made me feel good. It made me feel like I had really done something.
Shit, you have.
And it was like I was just working out 3 days a week. I mean, I hadn't changed my nutrition at all. I was trying to maybe like eat, 2 pieces of cake instead of 3 pieces of cake, and tell myself, okay, you had, 1 piece of cake today instead of 3, like that's good. So instead of like beating myself down, I was trying to like talk to myself the way I would talk to somebody else, and just do those little things, like trying to be kinder to myself. And, wouldn't you know it, like Dallas came across that post and he saw it, and he gave me a call.
That's
And
crazy, isn't it?
so crazy because Dan had just left like 10 minutes before. He had like run out to the store, and I answer the phone, and he's like, Stephanie? And I'm like, yeah. He's like,
No, he
hey,
wasn't like
it's
Stephanie. He was like, Stephanie. You said it all nicely. Yeah, Stephanie.
So, like, my first thought is, like, which one of my husband's friends is prank calling me right now? And then he, like, starts talking, and I'm like, oh my God, it's really him. Um, so, yeah, it's crazy. Um, yeah, he called me and he wanted to congratulate me on like the work I had been putting in, and he saw me and he was so excited for my progress, and he told me he wanted to help me get to the next level and help me out with my nutrition. So, I had no nutrition plan at the time, so like I was like, okay, like let me know. And he turned me on to the gluten-free and dairy-free and organic, so I decided, since I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna give that a shot. And wouldn't you know it, it worked. Uh, I guess he knows what he's talking about.
It's amazing if you
But
listen to him. Shit, it worked.
yeah, I mean, I think everybody is different, but for me, from the way I was eating to, and the thing also is I didn't do the change all at once. The first thing I started doing was going out and buying organic things of the things I was already eating. And then a couple of weeks later, I added in the gluten-free. And then a couple of weeks after that, I added in the dairy-free. So I like kind of took it at my own pace. Like I didn't drag my feet on it, but I also didn't try to overwhelm myself. So I eased into it, and it was working. And then I like kept just like my confidence just kept building and growing because I was doing something I had never done before, and I was getting results I had never had before, and it just made me like keep wanting more. So yeah, I had a tremendous amount of success the 6 months after that. So the first 6 months I lost about 35 pounds.
Okay, hold on. Before you go forward,
Yeah.
I gotta pick your part every now and then, so I apologize. Tell them.
Yes. This is why I'm here.
Tell them what the app is, where to find the app, and tell it to say. Assume someone's listening to this podcast that doesn't know anything about DDP yoga, and so where do they get the app? Where do they get to the Facebook group? That kind of things.
So the app, you can get it, on the Apple Store or Google Play. It's called DDP Yoga Now. You download it, and it is super user-friendly. I tell that to everybody. It's user-friendly, and it guides you through everything. It's awesome because it has a ton of content. Not only does it have a bazillion workouts, I think it was like 350 plus workouts. It also has a lot of content on nutrition, which I personally love. Recipes, I'm super into that. And it has information about the DDP yoga eating phases. And it also has a lot of motivational information. So there's Motivational Mondays on there. There's Fabulous Friday. There's tips that you can watch to do different positions. There's a lot of inspirational stories out there. So there is just a ton of content. Things are always changing. They drop live workouts every Tuesday, which I hit every week, and I love it because you never know what's coming. So they keep it fresh, and it's a great tool to have. You can take it anywhere, and I travel quite a bit since the pandemic. At first I was home all the time, but this past year we've been out quite a bit, and I can just bring my phone with me. I've got my app, no excuses, and it's perfect. The DDP Yoga group, you go to Facebook, it's DDP Yoga, one word. It is full of tons and tons of inspirational content, people sharing their stories and their journeys and what it's really like, and what you can accomplish if you really put the time in. So
great.
That is
great. That was a great answer. Great answer. All right, so now you're 6 months in. You're down 35 pounds. Yes. You got the Dallas Stephanie. I can help you with your diet.
I got the call. Yes. And I made the change, And over the next 6 months, I lost an additional 65 pounds. So I've lost almost twice as much as I did the first time by adding in the nutrition. So I always say, like, that is the point that my journey really took off, is when I had the workouts and the nutrition together. It was like just off the charts from there. So, that was
yeah, what do
incredible.
you say to the people that talk about how expensive organic food is?
Sure. Well, there is a difference between, conventional food and organic food. For me, it's worth the investment because I feel like the direction I was headed, I would have like been paying all that money to like the hospital and like medical issues, where now I'm paying it to food and getting the longevity of my life back. So it is going to cost you more money, but there are ways to be smart about it. I shop at Aldi a lot, and they have a great selection of organic food. And also, like, do what you can with what you got. I mean, if they don't have something that's organic, like, I don't beat myself up about it. Or if there's like, sometimes fruit can get really expensive, that's organic, like, then I'll find a different option. One place that I think is really affordable, like to substitute, is bananas. We always have bananas in my house because I make smoothies all the time, like you, Vance, and I throw a half a banana in
What do you
there.
put in
And
yours?
it's also, okay, so I am also a big Orgain fan. So I do like Orgain protein, almond milk. And I double blend my protein. So I'll give that a whiz with the liquid and the protein. And then I'll add in my stuff. So I'll do half a banana. And then I like to flavor myself. I like to get like creative in the kitchen. So one thing that I've really been liking, especially like this holiday season, has been like a chocolate peppermint. So I will put in some organic cocoa powder, which has no sugar in it. And it actually has a gram of protein per tablespoon. So I'm like, more protein.
Wow.
And then I'll put peppermint extract in there. So you're not adding any more, fat or sugar, but you're getting a lot of flavor. And then I'll add greens to it. I'll either do spinach or like the Costco has that big bag of power
We got
greens.
bought that today
So
too, the Power Greens. Yeah.
yeah, so Costco is another place that I like to
Hmm.
shop at because I can get the organic ingredients in bulk, which will be at a lesser cost. Um, so you have to be smart about your shopping, especially when you're switching over to organic foods, and like pick your spots. Like you don't have to like spend more than you need to. Just do what you can with what you have.
You know,
That's my best
I
advice.
foresee, I'm pulling out my magic crystal ball here. It's not like this is too hard. I mean, you don't have a pattern or anything, but I foresee in the future you having a recipe cookbook. The step. I foresee you taking uh, the range of this uh, DDP Yoga Nutrition cookbook in the future, and selling it and things to the members. That's what I foresee.
You heard it here first.
That's right. That's right.
That would be awesome. I mean, I would love to get involved with that. One of the things I love doing too is getting my son in the kitchen and showing him how to, one, cook, because I think it's an essential life skill, and two, like showing him like the different ingredients. And I feel like when he cooks, he's more likely to try things. So, yes, I'm all about like nutrition and trying new things. Um, and just getting creative. And I also am like into budgets because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have to be careful about what I spend. So like stretching things. One of my favorite things to do is to get an organic chicken, and I'll really stretch that out. I'll make a roasted chicken, and we'll have that for dinner one night with carrots and celery and onions and maybe roasted potatoes. And then like I'll turn it into a soup like for the next couple of days. Like I'll save the carcass, make my own
Wow.
stock,
Wow. That's impressive.
throw the left like pick the bones clean, throw the extra meat in there, like boom, now you've got like a second meal. So like those things are all really important to me, and it's about, like I said, about doing what you can with what you have and being creative. And again, it's just like I feel like I'm saying the same thing
No,
over and
no,
over
no.
again, but spending the time to, putting in the time in the kitchen is gonna like get you the results that you see in the end. Like how much time you spend on your nutrition is really going to reflect, you know, reflect in your results.
What effect Tina Gaspard had on you, you're gonna have on other people. So you talking
Oh,
about it,
I can only
yeah,
hope.
you're gonna be their leader, and seeing how you do it. My son's a chef, and he,
Yes, I've seen his
but
stuff.
and he when we roast the chicken on the smoker out there on the pellet smoker. He says, "Oh, put a tray under it, get the drip it." He's all into the drippings and all that stuff. Like you,
Yes.
he uses everything.
Yes.
So that's funny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So, but hey, but I want an acknowledgement in the recipe in the Stephanie Kelly recipe book cookbook. I want an acknowledgement that I predicted it.
Yes. Predictor of all the things.
All
Valentine's.
right. Hey, and I took Maria. She was my very first victim, and
Yes, I
yeah,
saw.
yeah. And she they talked about y'all did a couple of recipes at the performance center. Tell them what y'all did at the performance, and one of them everybody's still talking about the I can't remember, the peanut protein bar or something. I'm gonna have to
Yes.
have one. So
Yes.
tell them about that while we're on
So
cooking.
yes, yes, I was lucky enough to be able to host an episode of, we called it Recipe Takeovers, where we came in the kitchen and took over for a couple episodes. So it was super. It was an unbelievable experience because I got to go out shopping for everything. I made up a recipe like on the fly because I wasn't expecting this, and but I was super excited for the challenge. So I decided to make a champion sheet pan chicken meal because as a busy mom, it's so dinner is one last thing that you don't want to worry about. So I'm like, a sheet pan, it's easy cleanup. Like we'll get everything together on one tray, put it in the oven, and we're done. So it was chicken breasts, asparagus, and baby potatoes. So again, this is also like how I eat at home. So for me, I would probably opt for like the chicken and the veg. My husband would do the chicken and the potatoes, and my son gets a little bit of everything to try. So it's perfect for people. They also say a lot of times, like, my family doesn't eat the way I do, or how do I make meals, or, so this is just a different way to think about it. Like, make a meal that everybody can enjoy, but they can pick and choose what they
You hear
want.
that a lot
We're
about the husband doesn't, my family doesn't eat the way I do. You hear that a lot.
Yes, yes, and I mean it's real. It's an
Hmm.
obstacle. It's a struggle, but I also feel like during those times, like a conversation and communication can be really helpful. I know when I got really serious about things, I had a talk with my husband, and he asked me, he's like, are you okay with me keeping soda in the house? And I told him, I'm like, well, it's up to you, but I'd rather you didn't, because then it's just one less thing that I have to worry about. I'd rather it not be here so I'm not tempted. And he was like, okay. So now we don't keep soda in the house. But it's again, it's like communication, taking the time to have those important conversations with the people that are going to be involved in your daily life.
If
So,
there's something like that in
uh,
the cabinet or in the fridge, like a jar of peanut butter, if I know it's in there, I'm just obsessing over it all the time, figuring out a way to go
yes.
back and eat more of it.
Yes, it's very real, and it's like it's emotionally taxing, like having that on your mind. And like for me sometimes it's like cereal.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll sometimes I'll crave cereal, and I'm fine having cereal, but I'll get like Cheerios or like something like plain without a lot of sugar, and sometimes I'll have a bowl, but then sometimes I want another bowl and another bowl. And so then like I know like, okay, I can't keep this in the house. Like it's just that's a no food. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have quite a few of those foods where I'm like, you know what? I just can't have it here. And that's okay. Like that's you're just learning about yourself, you know? So so yeah, just taking the time to like figure out like who you are. You're going to trip, you're going to stumble, you're going to make mistakes, but like take the time to learn from those mistakes so that you can continue like moving forward. So that's just my
All
advice.
right.
But
So
but yeah,
one
we
pan
had
Mexican, and then tell them about the peanut butter protein bars.
okay, so these are highly coveted. These things are going to make me famous, you
Yeah.
guys. This is what is going to make me famous. They are vegan energy balls, and I will tell you right off the bat, these are not a low calorie food. They are high in calories, but they're good if you need something quick and like a kind of like a grab and go, and you need some like energy. So they have I and also with this recipe, I always say if you're gonna make it, to use the best quality ingredients that you can get because it is such a calorie dense food, and it's more like a treat. So for this, I would say definitely opt for the best quality you can get. So I go with organic, gluten-free, sprouted rolled oats because those have a little bit more nutrition in them. Organic peanut butter where it's just peanuts or peanuts and salt. Nothing with sugar or oils or anything like that. Raw agave, sugar-free chocolate chips, cinnamon and salt. You mix everything up together, make little balls. They are like heaven on earth. They're so good. But again, it's not a low-calorie food, but what it is high in is it's got good healthy fats for you to keep you satiated, like one or two of them, and like you're good. And it's got complex carbs for your energy to like get you through your workout or maybe after you just finished your workout. So it's going to give you a good pop of energy to help sustain you for like if you're going to be out for a while or anything like that. So again, they're super delicious. They're going to make me famous because they're amazing, but don't say I didn't warn you.
That's perfect. That the uh, everybody I've talked to have just raved about them. But you don't even cook those.
Really?
Yeah, you don't even cook them, right?
That's so funny. No, so like that's another thing I love about them is you just throw everything in a bowl, mix them together, and they're good to go. They freeze well, so you can always freeze them. Like that's actually a tip that I use when I make things and like muffins. I will make cranberry orange muffins for like Thanksgiving morning or Christmas morning or like a birthday. So it's definitely a treat. Gluten free and dairy free, but still they're muffins. Like, let's be real. So I will take it and I will freeze half the batch, like right off the bat. Because if they're there, I'm going to want to eat them until they are no longer there. So if I put them in the freezer and freeze them, I can't just go and eat one. So these are an item that will freeze really well. It's all shelf stable items, so they last a long time. And it's got like that chocolate to like get your sweet tooth fix in. But yeah, it's a great treat to have and something that you can easily make. Kids will love them. Easy to take to like gatherings. Your spouse will love them. Everyone will love them. And if you're allergic to peanut butter, you could use sun butter. You can substitute with any nut butter. Also, if you're not vegan, you could use honey.
What is sun
Honey, I
butter?
feel like has a more like robust flavor to it, so you could like switch it up with that. You could add like different things to it. You can do like cranberries, you could do raisins, coconut. I mean, you could like go crazy with it. Add like different extracts. So it's very versatile. You cannot mess it up. I mean, I don't know what they told you when you were talking to them, but we were like literally like eating this out of the bowl. Like we were like screw rolling these things into balls. We're just like eating this like straight up out of the
All
bowl.
right, so
And like that, I think that was
you're
yeah.
gonna you're gonna have to come up with a DDP related name for these things. You're going to have to come up with, it's like the
Hmm.
diamond cutter balls or the some kind of DDP
Interesting.
related names. I don't know if he doesn't get mad about I don't know. Maybe he'd get mad about using his. I don't know, but you got to come up with a catchy name for these things. If this is
Yes.
going to be your contribution to this the DDP yoga history, you're going to have to come up with a cool name.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so right now they are our vegan energy balls, but TBD. More to
TBD.
come on that.
All right.
Yeah. So like that's what is great about it is I feel like it's so many people can enjoy them, you
Yeah.
know.
All right. All right. You're a
So
hundred. You're 100 pounds down a year into this. So tell me,
yes.
did you shoot for did you keep your macros? Did you track things, or how on your? I know you ate gluten and dairy free, organic, non-GMO, but did you shoot for a certain calorie amount or certain macros, or restrict certain things, or that kind of deal? How did you stay within the bounds of the DDPY nutrition?
Yes. So those are all great questions, and I feel like I did things a little bit differently than
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people. So I never tracked calories. It's not something that I wanted to do, but not something that I was necessarily opposed to doing if I needed to. But I found for me because I stuck with as much whole food as possible and really sticking to like the lean meats and veggies, I didn't have to count calories. Um, and the weight still came off without doing that. And so I didn't track any macros or anything like that. Um, but I did cow dairy free, so I know you're a Manchego fan, and so am I.
I love that
So I
cheese.
do like the sheep, yeah, the sheep and the goat cheese. So I didn't cut out any
Hey, hey,
whole
hey! When
food groups.
in case there's any Costco execs out there, Mary and I went to Costco specifically to get two big chunks of Manchego today, and they didn't have any Manchego cheese at Costco today. Today
Wow.
is February the 4th, and the Costco is in Cedar Hill or Duncanville, Texas. I don't know which one that was Cedar Hill, I think. So, I am very disappointed that the Costco in Cedar Hill did not have any Manchego cheese today.
Wow. That's interesting because they're usually stocked.
Yes.
But yes. But yeah, so I'll do like sheep or goat cheese. I've also tried some of the Violife cheese. Like I've tried it like in a sandwich, so not like necessarily on its own. Um and then so I didn't cut out like dairy completely. I still have that a little bit. And then with the gluten free, like I still eat carbs. I feel like sometimes people hear gluten free and they think they have to cut out carbs. I know I did when I first started. I didn't know that I could still eat potatoes and things like that. So I haven't cut out any whole food groups. I still eat sugar from time to time. I just try to be smart about it. So, like in my coffee, I'll use monk fruit sweetener, the sweet drops, instead of, cane sugar. Or I'll substitute coconut sugar because it's not refined like cane sugar is. So I just try to make smarter swaps for myself. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, I did start counting protein macros last June because I was doing a 90-day Jack challenge and to build muscle. And to build muscle, you need to eat protein. And I had no idea how much protein I was eating. So to be able to be successful in that challenge, I did start tracking my protein at that point. I'm in my second round of it now, so I'm again tracking my protein again. But other than that, I have kind of just like tried to keep it simple. Really, just stick to like
The
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 veggies
kiss.
and the veggies and the lean meats, and then like if I am craving something sweet, I would do like an apple and peanut butter. Or like if I'm feeling snacky, I like to do popcorn.
You do the
um
air
so
pop.
yeah, I just try to, Yeah. Yeah. Or I will, if I'm like on the go, I get a bag of Skinny Pop because it's there and it's ready for me. And I get the organic one. So it's, 1% better, but 1% in the right direction is 1% more. So
All right. So, you mentioned the jack straps. Tell them what that means. You
yes.
mentioned you're on your second jack challenge, and tell them what all that means. You worked up to the jacked exercises.
Yes, I am a huge, huge advocate for the jack straps. I started doing the workouts in October 2020. I started to do the jacked workouts, and those by themselves are a whole other animal. I would encourage you to try them out, even if you don't have the straps, you don't need them. Your conditioning and your strength will like see huge improvements just by doing those workouts. So if those are goals of yours, definitely check them out. The straps are blood flow restriction cuffs, and they go around your arms and or your legs, and you tighten them up during specific dynamic resistance movements. And what it does is it restricts the blood flow to encourage growth in that muscle area. So after you're done with that set of dynamic resistance, you pop open the cuff, and then things go back to normal. But Dallas will call it throughout the workout when to do that. And what it does, it just helps to build the muscle strength and density and helps you to get stronger. And for me, it's helped me to get a little bit leaner, especially where I'm at in my weight loss journey. I was maintaining for the second half of last year. This year, I've decided to lose an additional 5 pounds. So I am back on the weight loss train. But since I have lost 120 pounds, I do have, loose skin, and building the muscle is helping me to tone and tighten those areas. So the jack straps have really helped me improve in that area as well. And yeah, I don't know. What else do you want to know about the straps? I love them. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me, especially women. I feel like this could be so helpful to take you to the next level of like what you want your body to look like and just the strength you want to feel. I was really skeptical about them in the beginning because I don't have a lot of upper body strength to begin with, that I didn't think that it would work. But I ate my words and then some. I have seen tremendous improvements in my strength, my stamina, and in, just the different things that I can do.
Did you try the new versions when you were in Atlanta over Christmas?
That is a great question. I did not get to try them, but I did get to see them up close and personal. So I'm super excited about the redesign. I really feel like this is the direction that DDPY is headed. They've invested a lot of time and money into creating this strap of their own. Like, they are not outsourcing this. Mm-hmm. They are creating this in-house, with the help of like engineers and all those smarty people. But they're really taking to heart like the durability of the strap, because I know that's been an issue with these. I know I've broken mine a bunch of times.
But I think I broke it because I think before I realized how it actually worked, I think I was over tightening it and I broke it that way.
Okay.
I kept wanting it to get tighter, and I think I broke it over.
Did you send them back and get new ones?
I did.
Okay,
They replaced them.
Yes. So the customer service has been really great with the issues that, they've had. And this is, I feel like, almost like they're collecting all this data from us about how to make, the 2.0 version the best it can be, because they see what problems we're having. I use my straps every day. So I really I really put them to the test, and I'm excited to see, the improvements in the new version.
So how many times are you doing DDP yoga now How many times a week?
So I do DDPY 7 days a week.
Wow.
So I do it every single day. You know, no matter what, I make the time for myself to get on the mat. I feel better. I may not always feel like doing it, but once I'm on the other side, I'm ready to take on the day. And it's about, if something's important to you, you're going to do it. So you're going to make the time for it no matter what kind of comes along in your day. So for me, it's an essential part of my day. It's a part of my routine. I started at 3 days a week, and I have slowly worked up to every day since July 30th, 2020.
Oh,
I've hit the mat every
so
single
you've
day.
got you a streak going.
I suppose you could call it that. Yeah, I try not to look at it that way, but gosh, for me, it just like it helps center me. It helps like balance me. It helps my body feel better. So it's like drinking water and eating food.
What time of day do you do
breathing.
it? What time of day do you do it?
I like to do it in the morning after, like during the weekdays. I like to do it after I bring my son to the bus because now he's in school full time. Before that, we were doing e-learning at home, which was another challenge in and of itself. But I always tried to do it in the morning, and I like to work out in a fasted state. So I can't eat until after I work out anyway, so that's like an extra motivator to get it done. I do have to sometimes work out in the evening just because of, how my schedule runs, and that's fine. But I feel like for me, I don't get the same results I do in the morning. So I really try to do it in the morning so it's done, it's out of the way, it's off my mind. I can relax for I don't have it, in my head that I have to get something done.
Do you know who Jennifer Jolliker is?
I do, yes.
Yeah, she's the.
She's got herself quite a big streak. What, 4 digits, right?
Yeah, I think it's up at over 1,700 days. I'm gonna have to get her
Good
on.
for her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you totally should. Yes, congratulations, Jennifer. That's amazing. Thank you for setting the bar so high for us.
So there's your goal. You're gonna have to beat her.
Well. Yeah. I'm coming for you, Jennifer. Thank you for the motivation.
There's a guy out there that's ahead of her, but he doesn't post. I assume he is. He was Jesse Amaral. Do you know him?
Yeah, he's had a great streak too. I know he moved out in front of George Fenmore when George got injured. And then yeah, he doesn't post very frequently.
No, he doesn't.
But
really.
Yes, I have seen his streak, and I saw his DDPY story that they put out maybe a year ago or so. So that was super cool.
It reminds me, have they put out your cooking show yet?
No, not yet. Steve, where's my show?
Hey,
I'm super excited.
Have they put
Recipe takeovers?
Have they put out your story from the contest yet?
So they did a Facebook Friday on me that they put out on Christmas Eve, and then I believe 2 weeks ago they debuted my DDPY story, which was super cool.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, I just cried. I just cried at it. It's so hard to believe where I have come from to now, and all these like amazing things that have happened. And honestly, like none of this would have happened if I didn't put myself out there. If I didn't, make that post on the DDP Yoga Facebook group, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So again, just like another opportunity to encourage others. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay that you're not where maybe you want to be. Put your story out there, and you never know who's watching. You never know what can come out of it. Like, be open to the possibilities.
That's right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything. I'm sitting here talking to you because I put my story out there,
Yes.
You never know what.
And I got to meet you because of that.
That's right. I get to meet you.
So crazy.
So All right. So wait a minute. First, I want to ask you, what's the protein? Tell them what the Jack Challenge is and what the protein number you
Okay.
shoot for.
Okay, so it's just it's 90 days of jacked workouts. Um, there is like an unofficial schedule I worked on with Jim York. Him and I kind of tweaked some things from the original jack schedule that he had put out there to make it, I think, a little bit more balanced. There is some active recovery in there, which is essential when you are building muscle. Rest is so important, along with the protein. So for me, I shoot to get about 150 grams of protein in a day, which is a lot of protein. So when I did my first 90-day challenge, it was actually really tough on me mentally because I had to eat more food. And after spending a year trying not to eat more food, it was hard. It was hard for me to wrap my mind around. But I needed the extra protein in order to build the muscle that I was working so hard for. So it's a 90-day challenge, basically doing jack workouts with the straps. And yeah, I will definitely post my results once I'm done.
Um, so we're up to how you got into the Positively Unstoppable Challenge and what it takes to enter and what did you do during the contest and that kind of thing.
Okay, so when I entered the Positively Unstoppable Challenge, I had already lost 95 pounds. So I was on the tail end of my transformation journey. But, I decided that that part of my journey, that leg of my journey, was still really important to share and to show and to, give other people the opportunity to see what it's really like at the end. Because sometimes those are the hardest pounds to lose. So I got a plan for the challenge. I stayed organized. I told myself I was going to film the same workout every week so that I could see my progress throughout the challenge. I was going to do vlogs about what was going on in my life and with the challenge a couple times a week. Um, and I was just gonna share and be as open and transparent as I could about it. So that's where I created my Instagram, and I decided to use Instagram and Twitter as a forum to share what was going on with me throughout the Positively Unstoppable Challenge. Um, and for me, because my goal during the challenge was to lose 20 pounds, I knew with that kind of a goal that I had to kind of do a little bit more work than maybe other people would to to become a champion. It's a transformation challenge. It's not just physical, it's mental. Um, and and I wanted to show that on a different level. So I think really opening up about what I was going through, the successes, the struggles, the everyday, the not wanting to do it, doing it anyway, all of that. I think it really, really showed a full story. And something else that was really important to me as I was pretty solid in where I was at in my DDP yoga journey is I really wanted to start helping other people. So I feel like that was a big part of my journey too, was reaching out to others and helping people and encouraging others, letting them know, that it's possible, giving them hope. I also during that time started the
Ah,
Warrior
ah,
Women,
Warrior
which
Women.
your lovely wife Mary is part of.
All right.
Um, which again, it was a space for women of the DDP yoga community to come and feel supported and to find their tribe and just know that they're not alone in this journey because men and women are going to experience things differently. So I just putting all these things together. I really wanted to push myself to the next level physically, adding in the jack straps, getting stronger, toning up, tightening up, and leaning out a little bit, physically, mentally, like my biggest breakthrough was, I felt a sense of freedom at the end of the challenge. I had been so stuck for so long and like, oh my gosh, what am I eating? What am I doing? When am I going to do that? What happens if I go here? What can I eat here? What can I do with this? That it was just kind of like always rattling on in my brain. And throughout this challenge, I got so much stronger mentally that I could finally like breathe and be like, I got this. Like, if I go to a restaurant, I can find something healthy. I don't need to worry about falling off. Or, if I'm going over to like a friend's house, I'm now strong enough and have had the experiences that I can be like, hey, I'm going to bring over, this salad. We can have this too. Or I'm going to bring over some like tequila and grapefruit juice and we can drink this instead of, the sugar bomb, margarita or whatever it might be. So for me, it was really about a lot of growth during that time period and just doing what I can to help other people.
And just for those that don't know, I think the grapefruit tequila is something that Dallas is particularly fond of as well.
Yes. I mean, nothing bad happens with tequila, right?
You said that there's a bunch of things, and I lose them if I don't speak. You maintained it for a year. No, how long have you said you've been maintaining? How long have you been maintaining?
I'm for 6 months, from June until the end of December.
So what range of weight have you been maintaining at?
Between 180 and 185.
Wow. See, I can't. I haven't. 4 years now. I'm either on the upswing or downswing. I haven't figured out how to maintain anything yet, and that's my goal in the future.
Yeah. Well, so I had this conversation with Thomas Wallen because after my first Jack challenge, I was down to like 176, which I know it's like 180 to 176, like it's 4 pounds, who cares? But like, I feel like for me at that weight, like there was a noticeable difference. So when I wasn't at 176 anymore, I was like mad, like, why can't I stay here? And he was like, that was your bottom, like your absolute lowest when you're going hard 120 miles an hour. That was your low, like you can't stay there. And once I like realized like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I can't be, at 120% every single day of every single, moment. There's gonna be a fluctuation. And for him, he said, like a 10-pound, like your low to your high, like that's totally normal. So like for me, it would be between 180 and 190. Like if I get up to 190, like that's like there's something more happening. So for me, like my medium is between like 180 and 185. And now my next goal is to hit 175 and have my maintenance be between 175 and 180. So it's just like, I guess it's just kind of accepting certain facts. Like your lowest isn't going to be your lowest forever and always. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
well, that's a good point. I mean, I've hit 219 twice, but I was only there for one. Yeah. I mean, one weigh-in both times. I can't. Yeah. I couldn't keep it. I could range in the 220s for a little while, but shit, I always going up. All right, you talked about. I want to talk about this. I keep jumping you around. We're going to get back to the contest, but you threw out a lot of things that I want to pull out and talk about for a minute. And
yeah.
One of them is the social media. Is how what if I've been asking? It has been such a important part of my journey, and I've been asking how it's affected other people's journeys, and and you've touched base a little bit about it, especially opening up on Instagram and Twitter. But tell me a little bit about how social media has affected your journey.
So for me, it's been really positive. I feel like the people that are following me and the people that I interact with have all been really positive, and we're all kind of headed in the same direction of wanting to be, the best versions of ourselves. So we're in this mindset where, we're encouraging each other and we're helping one another, get to where we want to be. For me, I try to post daily or maybe every other day. So I don't necessarily put any expectations on myself about it, but I kind of have a routine at the same time. I don't really like plan out too much what I'm going to post. It's just kind of like what's happening. Like I will probably take a picture of me and you at the end of this and post about our podcast today because that's just like what is going on today. So like for me, it's been really cool because I feel like I am reaching people that I wouldn't have been able to reach if I like stayed in my comfortable little circle. Like putting myself out there has really like given me the opportunity to reach people I never even knew about. Like I've been on a couple of different podcasts that have like nothing to do with DDPY, but they found me like through social media, and now I get to like, you know, to share and share my story with their audience. So it's really cool. Just for me, it's been a really great experience. Again, I don't try to put too much pressure on myself about how often I should be posting. It's a part of my routine, and I just share kind of what's going on. It's the good, the bad, the ugly. Like not everything is perfect. More photos on Instagram than not, I'm like in no makeup. I have my hair tossed up, either after a workout or before a workout. And like, it's just like, hey, this is just me. I try to keep it as real as possible so that it doesn't feel like work. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's not like I'm trying to make this lifestyle seem easy or glamorous or,
You're trying to be real.
I'm just trying to show it like as it is, and it's going to be different for everybody, and this is how it is for me. So,
It's one thing to post in your normal Facebook group. It's another thing to post in the DDP Yoga Facebook group, which is all supportive and positive. But posting on Instagram and Twitter. Now, how scary were you when you first started posting on those two mediums?
so I wasn't scared at all. No, really, I didn't really think about it too much just because when I started, I mean, I had an Instagram before this, but I didn't know how to use it. So I didn't have like any like friends or whatever. So when I started it this year, I maybe had like, I was in like single digit friends. So when I would post something, it's not like it was going to so many people. Same thing with Twitter. I started Twitter January 2021. And I didn't know anybody on Twitter. So it was like, I felt like I was just posting to nobody. So I suppose that made it less intimidating for me. So yeah, I guess I just didn't really even think about it. I just like, it's just sort of like, well, here it is. And that's all I got.
Well, how did, with Twitter and Instagram particularly, there's always going to be some trolls out there. How, how have you received any, and if so, how did you deal with those?
So I feel like, again, I've been super lucky. I haven't had anyone be mean to me.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I so far everybody's been really nice and supportive. I think a couple times on Instagram and Facebook I've gotten like some like suggestive things and I just ignore those and like delete them or block them or whatever,
Right.
like not accept their request or whatever. But outside of that, everybody has been really, really, really nice and supportive. So I have not hit that yet. One of my goals for 2021 or 2022 is to get to 10,000 followers on
All
Instagram.
right.
I'm currently at about 1,600. So I've got a long way to go. And with that, I think will bring a lot of different people. So that's something, that I'm going to go through. And that's an experience that I'm going to have to work through and figure out how I'm going to handle that. But I'm hoping I'm just like mentally in a place where I can, you know, either like just ignore it or, turn it around into a positive.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. I really think, that some of those people think it's a sport, that they say the meanest, awfulest things. I mean, I'm not talking about the creeps now that are, hitting on you, but I don't have any of those. I imagine it's different for you, but
You don't?
yeah, no,
No.
the trolls that just say the meanest, awfulest things. I think those guys just try to say the worst thing, hoping that it would go viral. That other people would laugh and
Right.
pick up on it and share it, and so I think it's
Well,
to them. It's like a sport.
yeah, and your success, like I feel from what I know, I feel like it took off so fast, so quickly that like you didn't even get the chance to like work into that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It was just like from my perspective, it seemed like you just like came out of nowhere and like were all over the
It
place.
was crazy. I can tell you that. It went.
Yeah.
I mean, they released it December 26th, and it was just like we were camping down at Goose Island State Park. We'd go down there for my birthday, and so I'm sitting here, poor reception. I keep looking at my stuff and looking at it, and it's just crazy. You
Wow.
know, it took me weeks to answer everybody. But anyway,
Oh yeah. Well, the fact that you even did that, I mean,
yeah.
that's incredible.
But it's social media. There's a lot of positive. I mean, I would never have gotten involved with DDP yoga if it wasn't for social media.
Right, right.
So it's crazy. Yeah. All right. The one thing I want to ask you, and you brought it up, so I'm going to go back and ask you now, because I asked everybody that's lost a bunch of weight, because they always ask me. One of the first questions everybody asks me is, what about loose skin? How do you handle those questions? Because I'm sure you're getting them too.
Yeah, I've gotten them a few times. So people usually ask me what I do about it. So I talk about, I've used the jack straps. It's helped me tone like my arms. It's actually helped me tone my midsection quite a bit too. I also in my protein smoothies, I add collagen peptides from Orgain, which I absolutely love. I feel like that's made a big difference, not only in the elasticity in my skin, but in my hair as well, and for my joints. So, I mean, loose skin, it comes with the territory, I suppose. For me, it's right now, for me, it's a reminder of how far I've come and where I don't want to go back. I'm sure as, my journey evolves, my feelings will evolve too. I'm hoping to continue. Like I said, I'm 36, so I'm hoping I'm close enough to that young enough side that I can get a little bit of like the tightening still, but I mean, who knows? So, I mean, it's crazy. Like I've lost weight in the weirdest places, like my forehead. Like I never used to have these like wrinkles, but now they're like so deep because I apparently didn't know I needed to lose weight in my
Forehead
forehead.
fat.
What is up with that? And then like I
Yeah.
don't know if you can see it on camera, but like under my skin, I have like some skin that like bunches here
Yeah.
because I lost weight in my
Dick.
in my middle neck area. Um,
It's
and
amazing where all
then
the fat accumulates, isn't it?
yeah, but like it's still definitely in my gut.
Yeah.
Like you left my forehead, but you stayed in my stomach. Um, but yeah, even like my
Well,
shoes fit
God's got to
differently.
have a sense of humor.
Oh, yes, and then some. So yeah, for me, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I'm lucky enough where it's not really slowing me down in my workouts. Like I will sometimes have to like move like my stomach out of the way for things to get
Yeah,
deeper or do things like that, but it's not anything that bothers me too much. So, I'm okay with it. I'd rather have the loose skin than be where I was.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so you've entered the contest. You've now lost 120 pounds, and um, you've explained how you competed in the contest. You set up a schedule. You set up a. You were posting every day, and you were doing the journals twice a week to document the ups and downs. How were you storing them for the people competing right now? How were you storing your video and pictures and everything?
So I recorded everything on my phone, so I had it on my phone. Um, I tried to upload them to YouTube, maybe once every couple weeks. I definitely got behind at certain points in my journey and had to spend a lot of time uploading them towards the end. So that would be a huge tip. Like, get on a schedule, either like after every workout you record, if you're recording once a week, upload that video, or maybe take time once a month, upload your stuff. Don't wait until the end because it takes so much longer than you think. Um, but yeah, I just kept everything on my phone. It was always with me, so I was able to have everything together. And yeah, that part was the documentation side of it is so important for the challenge. But by keeping it simple and just using my phone, it made it so much more compatible with my lifestyle because I could just grab my phone and use it from there. And then I had everything with me if I happened to need it. I could upload right from my phone. So yeah, do what's going to be the thing that you can be most consistent with.
Now, did on the stuff that you uploaded to YouTube, did you share it publicly or did you keep it private?
I kept everything private because I was uploading full workouts, and those are not supposed to be public.
Mm.
And then it had the settings defaulted to unlisted anyway, so I just went ahead and put everything that way. And then at the end, I was able to put all of my videos into a playlist and just send one link over for my documentation. It was so easy.
At the end of the contest, you just sent the DDP Yoga link to the YouTube where you've kept all those videos.
Yep, when you do your submission, there will be a section for it, and I just had to send one link, and so I had at the end I had over 150 videos. So instead of having to do like link by link, the playlist was much easier.
Now you did something I thought was brilliant. You said that you videoed the same exercise every week. Tell them about what exercise and what you did.
Yes, so I filmed Jacked Shoulders and Traps O2 workout every week. I chose that one because it was about 45 minutes, so it wasn't too long that it seemed like overwhelming, but it also wasn't super short where you could see in the beginning like where I was struggling and my stamina improvements and things like that. It was also a really challenging workout for me. So I had like side planks and kickstands, a lot of knee droppers, just a whole bunch of different elements that were challenging for me. And by recording the same workout every week, you can really compare, apples to apples. So for me, that was really important to be able to show a big change like very clearly.
Did you wear the same clothes?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't wear the same clothes, but in my 6 pictures, I did.
And
So my 6 pictures I would take every month, I wore the same sports bra and shorts.
And those you upload in the app, but nobody sees them but the people, but DDP Yoga.
Right.
Now how much does it cost to enter the Positively Unstoppable Challenge?
Ooh, that's a good question. So it is free to enter. All you need to do is go to positivelyunstoppable.com, fill out the entry form, which is very basic information, and then you also get to join the exclusive 2022 Positively Unstoppable Challenge Facebook group, which is only for people that are participating in the challenge along with the former champions, to kind of help encourage you and answer questions along the way. And it's a great space for you to share your progress. Pat McDermott and Nadia run that Facebook page. Vance, you're in there too, right?
Well, I think they put me in there, but I don't think I've been over there and checked it in a while. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So you might see Vance Hines in there
I
too.
need to go over there and look.
Yeah, so Pat and Nadia do a great job of putting out content there that is interactive and gets you involved and helps you create your own content for the challenge. So if you're not quite sure what to do, they kind of help guide you along.
And now you mentioned a DDP, a Facebook group called Warrior Women.
Yes.
Well, tell them about that. Where would, if somebody wanted to be a part of that, tell them where that is in the.
Sure. So you would search for the Warrior Women page. It's just 2 words, Warrior Women, and it is for women in the DDP yoga community. So you do have to be doing DDP yoga to be part of it. And you just request to join, answer the questions. And we run things a little bit differently in our group where only the admins can post. So it's myself and 5 other lovely ladies, Tina Gaspard, Caitlin Kay, Melissa Gula-Wisniak, and Samantha Sheets. The 5 of us put out different posts in there. We like them to be interactive to get you involved so that you can respond in the comments, help cheer each other on, hype each other up, support one another. Maybe find some women that you have things in common with, and find a tribe.
What you said, Melissa? The last 2, I've never heard those names. I don't know those people. Melissa Gula.
Oh, okay.
Gula
Wisniak.
Gula Wisniak.
Or Wisen. Yeah.
And then the other one was something Sheets.
Yes, Samantha
Sheets.
Yes.
I'll have to look them up. So they're on their own DDP yoga journey.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So, what happened at the end of the Positively Unstoppable Challenge 2021?
For my 6 months?
Yes. What happened?
Okay. So, my 6 months was actually pretty interesting because my last month of the Positively Unstoppable Challenge was the first month of my 90-day Jack Challenge. So that actually helped me finish the challenge as strong as possible. It also helped me to lose an additional 5 pounds outside of the goal that I had set for the challenge, which was incredible that I could do something even bigger than I thought I was capable of. And then, honestly, after the challenge was done, it was almost like, all right, well, now it's time to go to work. Now I've got this new challenge ahead of me. I've got that coming up. I've got to, make sure I focus in on that. And then after I did that, I got a little bit behind in uploading my documentation because I was focusing on the Jack Challenge. And after that was over, then I'm like, okay, now I've got to get all my videos uploaded. I got to figure out what my story is. So I had to kind of go back and see what I accomplished, what were those big moments during my 6 months that I really wanted to highlight. And so it was a lot of working on that piece of it. And I submitted in the middle of October and had about a 2 week period to breathe before like the interviews started and things like that. So, I mean, honestly, even when my challenge was over, like things were still going, full speed ahead.
So what are the interviews? What are those?
So they selected, I think they said it came down to like 14 people this year that they wanted to interview and ask, maybe clarifying questions or just, meet you or whatever they wanted to do for you. So for my interview, I met with, I think, like 6 different people. It was like a Zoom interview, and they asked questions, and I answered the best I could. I was super nervous because, one, I was just excited to be considered, and two, I didn't really know what to expect. So that was maybe about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour or so. Um, and then like you don't hear anything and you're like, oh no, what's happening next? And then from there I got a follow-up interview. So I was excited about that. And on that one is when Dallas, told me that I was one of the champions.
All right.
So that was incredible.
How did he tell you?
So he kind of, I want to say he kind of downplayed it at first. And was like, there were a lot of people this year, more than we ever had. It came down to 14 people. So like when he said that, I was like, oh, okay. So I was nervous. And then he's like, and I've got to tell you, he's like, you're one of the champions. I was like, oh my God. So, that was so cool. I had nothing prepared. Like, I like to be prepared for things. I like to know what I'm talking about. And I had literally nothing to say. Like, it was right here where I found out that I was a champion. And I was just like, thank you so much. I can't believe this is happening. You work so hard towards something, and, to be able to accomplish something like this is huge. So it was really incredible, and my husband was standing at the doorway. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I got off the call with him, I just kind of sat back and looked, and he was there, and I was just like, we did it. And I was just crying, and to share that moment with him, because he had my back throughout this whole challenge. Right off the bat in the beginning, I told him, I'm entering this challenge. I want to win. I had a big desire to win. And I'm like, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to be asking you to take, pictures and videos of me all the time. I'm going to be annoying about it. But I really want this. And documentation is the essence of this, challenge, that they need to see it. So he was all in with me. So to be able to have that moment with him, and for him to see, Dallas tell me that, it was amazing.
Well, what did you win? What comes with winning the challenge?
So we got to go down to Georgia, to Atlanta. So they flew Dan and I down to Atlanta. We were there for, I think, 4 nights and 5 days, even though the last day doesn't count because we were there super early at the airport. But it was just their whole thing is they wanted to create a one-of-a-kind experience for the 6 of us to be able to bond and, really become a family. And they kind of did little things for each person that were really, really special. For me, it was the Russell P thing that happened. That was super, super awesome and a dream come true. We got to go to an AEW wrestling show and got to go backstage, which was awesome. We got to be front row for some of it as well, which was, I've never been front row at a professional wrestling show, so that was super cool. We had our interviews done and a photo shoot done, which was really fun to do. And we got to do a workout with Dallas that was filmed. So that was one of my goals, was to be in a workout on the app. So that was another like dream come true that happened. So yeah, it was just so many things that they did for us to really make us feel special. Big shout out to Steve Yu. He is the one that wrangled us the whole weekend, and with 12 plus people, that is not easy. And then they surprised us by bringing candy down, so that was awesome. And then they surprised us again with you coming down. That was crazy. So I mean, it was just magical, just a magical experience all around.
And you got to go to the Christmas party.
Oh yeah, see, oh my God, so much stuff. And then we got to go to Dallas's house. Like, who gets to do that? So yes, they were very welcoming to us and like treated us like family there. We got to go a little bit early, and he autographed my copy of Positively Unstoppable, which was like super nice of him.
All right.
Um,
So proud of you.
yeah. So just, I mean, incredible. And for me, it was like being at a red carpet event because I was like meeting all these celebrities. Like I know I had met you a little bit earlier in the day at Top Golf, but like you are definitely one of the DDPY celebrities.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do for sure. Meeting Brittany Page was awesome because I love watching her on Russell Peace, and I love what she brings being, a mom and, being in the workouts. I love seeing her on the app. Got to meet Josh Nair, who was like the director of the instructors. You probably work with him a lot. And then just so many people. Mark Mero was there. We got to meet him. Ace Austin. Ted, I got to meet Ted. That was super
Ted.
cool.
87.
And we got to watch
86, 87.
87, yeah. And we got to watch the premiere of his Usher video. That was so cool. I mean, Ice Train was there. I'm trying to think. Yoga Doc, that was
Yoga Doc
amazing.
was there?
Terry. Yes, so
Terry.
many people. And like with you and Maria, it was like you both live in Texas, but you met in Atlanta at the Christmas
Yes.
party.
Yes.
So for me, I have a wonderful woman that I became friends with through the DDP Yoga page. Her name is Kim, and she actually happens to be Paige's cousin. And the day before the party, she's like, "Hey, I'm going to be there." And I was like, "What?" And she lives in Illinois too, just like
Oh,
I do.
man.
So I'm like, we both had to come to Atlanta to meet each other. But like that was a big highlight of my trip, was being able to meet her and just, like making all those connections with people, and being in a room with so many people, so many like-minded people is so powerful, and there's just like an energy in that house.
Hey, did you
So
talk to that guy that was wearing a Christmas dress? Do you know who I'm
Christmas
talking
dress.
about? He was wearing kind of a.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did not talk to him,
But you know who I'm talking
but
about?
yes.
Well,
Did you talk to him?
Well, yeah. I was sitting Mary and I was sitting on the couch, and he come sit down next to me and started, talking, and evidently he's a big deal.
Oh.
His last name is Shimbri, but he wouldn't. I had to pry things out of him, like he kept wanting to ask us questions, and I kept wanting to ask
Oh.
him questions. Let me think of the company. It's is it Brian Shimbri? But he does something out of New York. I want, if I can, let me think of his name. And
Yeah. Yeah, there are so many people there. Anthony Agogo was there.
see, I don't know who that
Um,
is.
oh, he's in AEW. He's an Olympic athlete. He is in some of the jacked workouts on the app. Garrett was there, which was super cool. A lot of the people that we had worked with over the past
Garrett.
few days were there. Trevor Hancock was there. Dylan was there. So many people. I mean, it was so cool. I had like the best time.
I'll think of. I'll keep searching for this dude. but it's something.
Did you
in
have
New
any of the
York.
food?
Yes, I pigged out at the deal, man. I really went after it at the deal.
What'd you have?
Everything, everything. I kind of blew my diet there. It kind of started the snowball rolling. That kind of I was doing good till I got there, and then I stepped at the whole Christmas party looking at that table of food, and I started out just picking the healthy stuff, and by the end I was eating every damn thing.
I think everything was healthy there.
Yeah, well that's good to know because I ate it.
Yeah.
So,
And I had a lot of the chicken. Did you have the chicken?
shit, I can't remember the chicken.
Anyway, well,
I
it's
I
like a
can just,
big
I can remember
like
the sweets and the cheeses and stuff like that.
oh, okay. Yeah, there was like a couple of trays of chicken, which it was so good that everyone was like, it said like CHIKN for chicken. So it was supposed to be like vegan chicken. But everyone's like, there's no way this is vegan chicken. This is straight up chicken because it tasted so good. But yeah, they put out quite a spread. It was beautiful. They turned like the kitchen area into like a bar area. And then in that living room in front of there is where we saw the premiere of Ted's video.
Yeah, man. Yeah, tell them about the Ted's video. That was awesome. I know it's out now. I wonder how good
Yeah.
it's doing.
So Ted is 87 now, and he's been doing DDP yoga for over 20 years. He was in I'm not sure if he was in the army or some armed forces, and he had a lot of injuries, and he's been doing DDPY for so long now, though, that they decided for his 87th birthday to challenge him with something to do outside of the box. So they had him replicate the Usher Yeah video, which turned out incredible. But there was like a lot of lead up to it. So you got to see him kind of stumble. You got to see like the hard parts. But you got to see him work hard and accomplish something that nobody could ever imagine. So I got chills when I was watching it. He was sitting down on the couch and I was directly behind him. So that was super cool. But yeah, it's just like a big family. Everybody came together to help him with it. Like Steve and Dallas were, driving the train on that, but so many people were helping out. And yeah, it turned out great.
All right, I'm still trying to find that guy. I'll find him so you can look him up. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna have to give it to you after. I wish I could come up with his name, but anyway, he's evidently he's a big deal. I was talking to him, and he learned that he had just met Dallas a month or two before at
Oh.
at a down in Austin, Texas. There's a Formula One racetrack. And
Oh, yes, I saw
Dallas
those videos.
and Paige went down there to the Formula One racetrack, and they were up in I guess a special area, but they had met this guy and his I don't know if it was a wife or girlfriend, but down there at that event. But he was, and I kept prying out of him how he knew Dallas. Why? Everybody there has a backstory of how they kind of get into Dallas's life, but. And he said, I said, well, he was at the Formula One racetrack at the invite of Ferrari, and he was naming off all these big, Fortune 500 companies. And he just kind of blew over it, and he went on talking something. I said, wait a minute, go back. I said, Ferrari invited you to a Formula One race? He said, yeah. So that's how we got started talking. But I can't remember his damn name. But he was a hoot. I'll send it to you so you can look him up. I wish you'd have gotten to talk to him because he was a pretty intense dude.
Yeah, there are so many people there. I wish I had more time.
Yeah. All
Maybe
right.
next year.
All right. So you've won the competition. You've lost 120 pounds. Oh, and you won. You get some money for winning the competition too, and a belt.
Yes, the belt.
You get the cool belt, and
Yes.
yes, you got you. So now you can tell your husband he doesn't own a belt. You know, he may
Well,
ref, but he doesn't own a belt.
that's not entirely accurate.
He does own a
There,
belt, huh?
there, there is another belt in this house.
Oh man.
For our wedding, his best man had a custom made belt made for him that said wedding champion on it.
Wedding
Um,
champion.
yeah,
That's
so he
awesome.
has I'm not the first person in this house with the belt. But yes, I think we might have to start making like a
That's,
belt room.
that's right.
Or
You're
like,
gonna have to start a
yeah.
room like Dallas's room with all the,
Yeah,
all the accolades and photos and everything around
right.
you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
All right. What's next for the Stephanie Kelly train that keeps rolling?
So yes, so 2022 I've got big goals. So we talked about a couple of them. I'm looking to lose another 5 pounds, which would bring me down to 175 and a total of 125 pounds lost. So that is a big goal for 2022. I am also looking to get to 10,000 Instagram followers because I want to share as much positivity to as many people as possible and just spread the word. And I post about all things DDPY, food, fitness, fun, and family. I'm also, one of my goals is to get back to the performance center sometime this year. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know why, but it has been inked and it is a goal for me for this year. Um, and I am doing the 90-day Jack challenge, so my goal is to complete that as well.
Is your husband still getting on the mat with you?
He does once in a while. So he doesn't do it every day like I do, but what we do now is it's like a new tradition for us to do it for special occasions as a family. So like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays, like anything like that we're celebrating, like for me, he will like have it arranged where he'll get the mats out and I'll do a workout together.
What about your son? Is it? I mean, you told me his name. Is it Connor?
Connor, yeah.
Connor. Okay. Does Connor get on the mat with you?
He does sporadically. So it's a little tougher for him to hang for a long workout. He does not have the attention span for it. So if we intentionally do a workout, it'll be one of the kids' workout. It'll be either the beginner or the intermediate one, because those are both under 30 minutes, and he can hang for that. Sometimes he just likes to pop in the middle of the workout and do some things with me, and when he's done, he's out of there. So it really just depends. But I love that he is growing up seeing me take care of myself.
That was one big motivating factor for me because I didn't want my kids' whole memory of me to be an old drunk fat Vance. I was drunk and fat most of their childhood, and it was in the later. I was fat their whole childhood basically, but at least I didn't drink the last 4 or 5 years. I sobered up and didn't drink. So it was that's the kids. That can be a super motivating factor. The
Oh,
example
sure.
you're setting for the kids, your legacy, what your memories you want them to have of you, and that kind of thing. So that's huge.
And then I have a question for you,
Sure,
if you're open to questions.
man. I'm always open to questions.
So we kind of talked about it briefly last month, but is Van Tynes going to sign up for the 2022 Positively Unstoppable Challenge?
Well, told me I should. I need to.
I think you should.
I mentioned to Steve that you you messaged me and said I need to do it, and I appreciate you doing that. And Steve said I should do it, and I said I wouldn't feel right taking any money from you guys if I wanted or anything. And he said, well, shit, you ain't gonna get any special favors. You're gonna have to win it, and if you're gonna win it, and so it's except Steve didn't cuss. Did you know he doesn't cuss? That man doesn't cuss ever.
Oh.
He doesn't cuss.
I'll have to pay attention to that.
Like, well, listen to. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't cuss. But when we were in Atlanta, he was he was a little upset about an issue that you're well aware of. I said, well, Steve, did you cuss? Did you get mad enough to cuss? He said, almost.
Oh boy.
Almost.
So when Steve starts swearing, get out.
That's right. That's like he never swears. So if he swears, that means that's like the time bomb, the nuclear bomb going off. And so,
well, Vance, I'm still in that mindset that I think you should totally join the challenge. I think it will shake things up, and I think you are going to make a lot of noise. And I think you're going to rock it. So
I don't mind doing it, but I don't want to take away from the people that are in it.
It's not. You know what? You're working to get your life back just as much as anybody else. And you deserve the opportunity and the challenge and the motivation and the additional accountability as much as anybody else.
I mean, I've had my 15 minutes of fame from this thing,
Well, but it's not about. I don't think it's about the fame. I think it's about living life. I know you have goals for this year. Mm-hmm. And will this challenge help you focus in on those goals?
My two goals are to get to 237, back to 237. I weighed 302 Wednesday. Get back to 237 and stay in the 230 to 237 window for 12 months.
That's perfect. That's a great goal.
That's my goal because I have never maintained. I want to get me like one of those. I want to put something back here like, how they hadn't been a workplace injury for so many days. I want to count down 365 days, from a big sign back here in the back.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant! I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, when you get to 237, I will send you one of those signs. It's been said. It's out there. Yes, I love it. Oh
so I got to weigh every day and mark it off of that damn calendar. You can
do it every week. You can do it every week.
No, it's every day. I want to stay in that window for 365 days. That's my goal. Maria told me that weighing every day. That's what she said in her podcast. It's really kept from creeping back up. She weighs every day. She gets on that scale. It scares the hell out of me to get on there once a week, So,
I do the once a week too. So I'm with you on that schedule.
Yeah. Dallas, I had to fight Dallas forever. He wants you to do it once a month. He doesn't want you to do it less frequently than that.
Oh,
I had to argue with him forever on that. As much as you get to argue with Dallas, there's not much arguing with the guy. It's hard to say no to that man. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Stephanie, let's see. No, wait a minute. If they want to become one of your 10,000 followers on Instagram, I got to point up here at this. Where do they sign up?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Next Level Grit. I share all things DDP yoga, food, fitness, family, and fun. I love posting about my DDPY workouts, all the different food I'm eating, and just kind of what's going on in my journey at that moment. So please check me out. I'd love to share my journey with you. Also, I have some merch. If you go to nextlevelgrit.com, I am selling shirts, and all the proceeds are going to go to help other people in their transformation journeys. So check it out, and yeah, I hope to see who follows me next.
So what is Next Level Grit? And Mary told me that I have one of your shirts coming.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, she said
Oh
she's
my
ordered shirts
gosh!
from you. So
Oh, thank you, Mary. You're the best. Oh, that's so sweet. Um, yeah, so next level grit, like that is like kind of what I like designed my positively unstoppable challenge on, is I really wanted to take my journey to the next level for the challenge. And it's like, what does it take to get there? It takes grit. So, you know, I feel like anybody that has gone through a journey knows that it takes determination, discipline, time, and it takes grit to get there. So you gotta work it. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm all about, is taking things to the next level.
well, you've done that at each stage of your life. I don't doubt you're going to stop now. So
Oh,
what are you
thanks,
going to do
man.
with the Next Level Grit? What are you going to do with that moniker? You gonna you planning on
So
it?
yeah, I want to help people in their journeys. So I think it was on last Friday, I just put the shirts kind of out there. So I'm going to see how they do, and then based on that, I can decide how I will be able to use the money. I know that I believe it's February 17th through the 23rd ish is World Kindness Week, and I'm all about spreading kindness. So I definitely want to use some funds during that week to help other people along with their journeys. And I recently just had a Positively Unstoppable giveaway where I gave away 2 books
Oh
to
man,
people, 2 autographed copies of Positively Unstoppable to people to help them along with their journeys. So it could be something like that. I've been thinking about maybe like sending like some healthy stuff out to people. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna see where I get to decide how much I have available to use to help other people.
now you said you've done other podcasts. Where would they go to listen to those?
Oh my gosh, I wish I had a list. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. They
Yes,
can.
I've done about almost 10 podcasts at this point. So they're all with a lot of different DDP yoga people, and then a couple people outside of DDPY. So they're all like on their own platform. I should like start making a list for
Yeah,
myself. That's a great question.
that's right. You know, start like a link tree. You know that you where
Yeah.
you link everything. All right. I think I'm about running out of questions. Let me look at my notes. Are there any other places that you would want someone to follow you? Any other social media or any other websites or anything?
You can definitely find me on the DDP Yoga One Word Facebook group. I am super active in there. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I really do like helping people, and I have been through a lot of different things throughout my journey. And you know, if you have any questions about the jack straps, happy to help with that too. Or questions about the Positively Unstoppable Challenge, I'm happy to help you.
All right. Well, Stephanie, thank you for letting me jump on you. Is there anything else you want to say before we get off? Anything else that I missed that I didn't probe you about?
I just want to say thank you so much for thinking of me, Vance. That was super nice, and I'm so glad that we got a chance to chat. And again, it was like so awesome to meet you in Atlanta, and I love that we can like have this, you know, friendship outside of it, and just, you know, show people like it's more than a workout. It's about a lifestyle. It's about connecting with other people, and yeah, just thank you for having me.
Well. I mean, it was a great point. It's a community. It's a lifestyle and a community. A positive. What Dallas and Steve has done is created a positive and supportive community. Um, like it's unbelievable on the internet in this day and age, and they fight so the Facebook group, which is not even part of the DDP yoga group, is all positive and supportive, and it's just amazing what all they do. I just can't recommend the program enough. I really think that this DDP yoga is the closest thing that we're gonna see to the fountain of youth in our lifetime. I mean, it gives people their lives back.
Yeah, I always say the world needs DDPY.
Well said. Well, have you had any trouble with your SI joints or plantar fasciitis since you started doing DDP yoga?
No, it's completely gone away. I've strengthened those areas so much doing the workouts, and I feel better than I ever have.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me do this, and I'm going to try to get it out, I think, on the Monday for, whatchamacallit, what's coming up, Valentine's? The 14th.
Oh.
The 14th. Yeah, I'm going to try to put you out on the Valentine's Day, because I took Brian's last week, during the week sometime, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get his out this Monday, and then get yours out next Monday. So y'all have anything special planned for Valentine's?
Not yet, but it's on a Monday, so Connor will be at school, so we'll probably hit up a date.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like fun. Well, congratulations on winning the Positively Unstoppable Challenge and changing your life and losing 120 pounds and giving back to the community. I mean, you are definitely going to inspire millions of people, just like you're going to. There's going to be other people out there citing Stephanie Kelly, like you did Tina Gaspard in this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Stephanie. Thank you. I think I took enough of your time. We just hit 3 hours, so
there we go.
All right. So I'm gonna shut her down. I'll turn her off, and thank you for coming. And I will keep doing what you're doing, spreading the love.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you for listening to the podcast today. I'm your host, Vance Hines of Transform with Vance, where transformations begin every day. Please take a moment, if you will, if you like the podcast, to subscribe and follow, and you can find us on social media as well, either under Vance Hines or Transform with Vance. Please tune in and subscribe to our feed. You'll be able to hear lots of transformation stories. I'm in search of interviewing as many transformations as I can find. So if you have a transformation that you would like to have someone interview and have and appear on the podcast, just send me the name and number, message me, and I'll reach out to them and try to get them here. But no matter what, a better life begins on the mat. Get on the mat and start your transformation today. Thank you.